All right, let me know if we are back. I believe we should be back up and running.
It's super windy.
Yeah.
And we may even lose power.
All right, I told him that we were
Power's
in the
been
middle of
lost
the
in
storm.
like Stevens and Knightfall.
Okay, well, we'll tell him.
Okay, you guys good.
Okay, yep, we're good. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody who stuck around. Oh, sticks are around from Doro. So, looks like we have a second sword. That's a sword of War and Peace.
Oh, wow, I didn't even notice that.
No, a sword of War and Peace. Now, on
Vince
the
is
back.
making his case to be a moderator in the chat. So many swords.
That is hilarious, actually. That's a solid joke. All right, welcome back, Fortnites. We are sorry for going down for a moment. Hopefully, you guys are all back and with us. All right. But Vince providing an extremely good argument of why he should win right now.
Yeah.
He's
got the most swords.
Most swords is a really solid way to go about it.
Yep. And it looks like Nathan's at 11.
And it looks like going up a decent amount of life because of this scavenging ooze. So using all of that green mana to start eating those creatures back, and all the way back to 11 after being down to 7, that's going to be a pretty sizable blocker, but it's still not going to get through that sort of body and mind.
Nope.
So I think at this point we're going to see is Nathan finally make use of that Path to Exile.
I think he already did.
And
took out a token.
And you actually could be correct. The only problem is his graveyard is so full that I can't fully tell, and we unfortunately went down for a moment.
Yep.
All right. So.
Yeah, it's just going to get a chump block here.
And a swing with that, which is going to get blocked.
Yeah,
so.
You should definitely play that land. You don't want to take an extra damage with the Sword of War and Peace.
Yeah, and we're kind of in a dangerous position to where Nathan, I mean, I think he just has a Kiki Chord in hand.
Yeah.
And I don't think that he has a whole lot
I can't think of anything
to do. So we could be seeing Taxes take down this game 3 here. All right. So, all things considered, I am pretty impressed. And this Taxes deck, like you said, putting up a really good show, and not in any of the ways that I was expecting.
Yeah, this did not expect swords.
No, I mean, I was expecting, a lot of tax attacks preventing him from searching his library.
Yeah, I was expecting even Mind Sensor.
And what we saw was
6,
Nathan
7?
just get beaten up by
8,
swords. This is
4?
8, or this is 6, I believe.
Oh,
There's
and then
+2,
the
+2, and 2.
Yep.
So, down to 4, and
then Vince is going to get a 23.
And going up a pretty sizable amount.
Yeah.
He only has some cards in hand, so actually going to, because of that extra damage from the card in his hand.
At this point, I don't even know if Nathan has an out anymore.
No, I don't think so.
Especially since all 4 cards are in his graveyard.
Oh my goodness. I mean, maybe an Eternal Witness might be the out. I think that of all the things, he basically needs to draw... he needs to draw an Eternal Witness. So
if he stacked his deck with black creatures, would be a good one. Big Game Hunter would be pretty funny here.
Big Game Hunter would be very good. But interestingly enough, Vince holding the swords of all of Nathan's colors has no superfluous colors on the field right now.
Yeah.
Which is just amazing.
Yeah.
So, got the perfect swords here. It looks like we lost some of our people. Sorry about that. We're no longer popular.
That I'm used to.
That's true.
Yep.
All right, and looks like going for another.
He's just making his scavenging ooze big.
Yeah. And it's gonna buy him a little bit of time, and eventually Vince might run out of trump blockers. But with him gaining 3 to 4 life every turn, I don't think that's gonna be super relevant.
Wall of Omens. That's I think a card.
Okay.
It'll draw him a card.
It'll draw him a card.
Yeah. I mean, there's still that. And if nothing else,
and it gets him a land.
Defiance and stuff.
So, no, it doesn't get a land. Sorry.
Re-establishing it. Oh, well, he does draw him land.
So, even better. Nailed it.
We are so ahead of the stream.
We are psychic, actually. It's a little known fact. So these two, probably close to turns, might have gotten a small time extension for moving over. But it looks like, that is a game, and looks like...
Is that a Wrath of God?
That is a Wrath of God.
Ow.
Okay, so getting ready for the next round. We're going to go back up to the booth. If you guys do have any quick questions, comments, or feedback, let us know as we are waiting to head into round 2. Looks like we're going to be pretty close, so not a whole lot of time. But if you've got them, we will do our best to answer them during that time between rounds. Just put @Geek Fortress with your question, and we'll see you there shortly. Hello! It looks like a decent amount of people joined us in between during that first round, so thank you for joining. My name is TJ.
I'm Coleman.
And we are from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. It is in the Pacific Northwest of the U.S. As a heads up, in case it goes down, we have all of our people, our players, and us coming out in the middle of a storm, and there's a storm raging around us right now.
Yeah.
So, if we go down and we lose power, I will send out a tweet, and you guys will know that that's why. Follow me at Red Baron MTG. Nonetheless, it is very windy, so if we have some kind of problems, please forgive us. We don't try this. Alright, so does he play Reflector Mage in the main? I don't know, but I'm going to suggest that. That is amazing. Cool. So we will get that to him, and hopefully... But if I can get a list from him of this Blue Splash, I will try to. That's another thing. I'll put it on our Tapped Out account, add it on, and post it on Twitter, so you can find that Blue Splash list, hopefully, on my account. Got anyone playing Storm tonight? Maybe. I know we were putting it together.
Yeah.
If David showed up...
I have most of Storm build.
So maybe not tonight, but we do have someone who's planning on playing Storm very shortly in the hands of David Bradbury. Want to see them sleeves? We'll try, but we may not have them on camera, but we'll do what we can. Okay. So, Geek Fortress 2 Storm Boogaloo. What is our opinion of Thing and Ice for modern control? What do you got?
I like it. I think it's fun. Yeah, I saw it too. Don't worry.
Extra turns, Dex.
We'll address that in a second.
I'll be posting a deck list in the next 48 hours onto my Twitter, which you should follow.
So anyway, Thing and Ice. I think it's really, really cool. I'm not sure if it's good enough since it will still dive into Abrupt Decay. But
I'm pretty excited about it.
I like it a lot.
I don't see. Here's the problem. In a vacuum, just looking at the card, that card is very, very good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not sure if it's good enough to replace any of the current slots, like the Wall of Omens that already exists, the Jace Vryn's Prodigy, which is starting to be played just because it can psych you to the conditional answers that you want, or the Snapcaster. I'm not sure if it's as good as the current 2-drops.
I think it's incredibly flavorful.
But it's so good, and I know that people are going to be testing it. I hope that it actually ends up being a thing, because
I hope it's good too, because the card is really cool.
It's a great wall that rewards you for enacting your game plan. Yeah. So, Game 2 coming up. Thank you for sticking around. Round 2 coming up, and we are going to be having Mason, the Zoo player, up against Josh. Now, honestly, I'm going to guess that Josh is on Mono Blue Tron, but he might be on Storm. He was putting together Zoo for someone else to be playing.
Very, very flavorful.
But if that person didn't show up, and since he got all the cards, he might be. There's a decent chance that he's on Storm. So I'm gonna put him down for Mono Blue Tron for now, and we're gonna head on down. If it's Mono Blue Tron, I'm gonna actually take Zoo. If it isn't, then I'm actually gonna take Storm.
Yeah, me too. But really quickly, person who's asking about extra turns, hit me up on Twitter. I play extra turns, or we can talk about it after this next round.
Yes, it's going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see you down there. Let's have some fun. Okay, so just a quick talk to some other people. Logical Glitch, I'm not sure. First of all, fantastic name. Second of all, I'm not sure if I've seen you in our chat or in our stream before, and I want to thank you for showing up. I know that there's a lot of other people. I know that there's one other person that I saw as well. Actually, the Idjit. Oh, that's clever.
Yeah.
But to the Idjit and to There Is No Comp 2, thank you. I'm not sure if I've seen you guys before, but I'm really excited to have you all here. And if you guys do have any questions, comments, or feedback, always welcome in the chat. We like to have that chat active, and we like to claim that we're one of the most interactive, at least live streams.
I hope so. I would hope so.
With an actual tournament. So, you're new to Magic and play Blue-White Control in Modern. You'll try playing that card. Great. If you ever have any questions about Magic in general, feel free to let either of us know on our Twitters. We both really enjoy answering those kind of questions. And we are actually seeing Naya Burton. Now, my vote is actually going to switch to Naya Zoo in this case, because Zoo has so much repetitive pressure.
Yep.
Josh, a little bit new to Burn. If he realizes that he is now the control deck, we could be seeing a pretty good matchup. But I'm just not sure. So... And
Mason's continuing the streak.
Excellent. Third time watching, saw Sweet Zumbardman deck one week. Yes, you did, and you can find that list Joe isn't here tonight.
Yeah.
He wasn't able to weather the storm. He drives from a decent distance. He will be here on Friday, though, for
Yeah.
Legacy, possibly playing
gonna be fun.
Zombardment, or possibly my co-host. But if you want to see that list for the Zombardment, try our Tapped Out account.
Yeah.
Tapped Out, the username is just Kiki Fortress. We're listed as a deckling, which is hilarious. The
Yeah.
name is... But Joe's Zombardment list on there, after our GPT, did I ever tell you how many views it got?
No, you
It
did
is
not.
over 1,000 right now. It is at like 1,182 views on Tapped
Wow.
Out. It is insane. That modern Zombardment
Oh.
list is fantastic. So
Especially good for someone who built the sideboard 20 minutes before the
I
tournament.
know, building the deck 12 hours before the tournament and building the sideboard about 15 minutes
That's
before.
so good.
There's a deck builder's note on the deck, like in the description, saying, by the way, he doesn't want people to judge him for this sideboard. Okay. So,
Mason on that mulligan train.
let me get you a link to our Tapped Out account. I can definitely do that.
But yeah, the storm.
It's
the storm
pretty
going
bad.
on right now. It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Like, I'm from Washington, which means that we don't particularly care about storms.
No,
But,
not at all.
but as far as like ones that are more destructive and just get in the way of our things, this is one of those.
yeah.
All right, so and I have got a link for you here. There you can find us, and under the decks, his is actually one of the first ones on there. It'll just be listed Modern Zombardment. I forgot to put Joe's. I just realized. I'll have to edit that later.
That's fine.
So, what is the meta there for Legacy? A decent amount of blue.
Yeah.
A fair number of Delver decks, but because we actually allow proxies, then there's actually a good amount of variety. Our Legacy events are non-sanctioned. You can have any number of proxies as long as they're good. So the meta changes a decent amount, but there's usually about 3 Delver decks. So, a turn 1 Rift Bolt from Josh after shocking in a Sacred Foundry, going
It's
down
like
to
Mason's straight to
18.
the top, so at least there's that.
And looks like Mason falling out with a shocked Sacred
Curdy?
Foundry. Looks
Oh,
like
it's a
going for the
cat.
cat. And that's solid. I'm expecting Josh to, taking out the cat. So Josh doing what he needs to do. And I like seeing this. This is a good sign initially that Josh is aware of what his role is in this matchup.
And Eidolon is going to be pretty good against the deck not playing anything more than 3.
Yeah, so Josh off to a pretty solid start. Mason looks like having some trouble, has a Flinthoof or a Curd Ape, some things like that, but I'm not quite sure what else that we have. All right.
I think Mason has a Flinthoof in his hand as well, but
Okay. So...
Josh has a Searing Lizard. This game might it's just insane.
Dang it.
Yeah, we're probably gonna have some minor technical stuff.
If you are brand new, be sure to hit that follow button. That way, if we go down, you can re-find us.
Yep.
That's the reason for my play. So 2 Rift Rolls from Josh. This is a fantastic setup. With Mason doing a fetch into a shock right now, going down to 15. He's about to take possibly 6, but probably only 3 because of removing this Curd Ape, I expect. Unless Josh has got some better removal in hand. And, I mean, 2 Rift Bolts is just going to be insane right now. Especially because it means that even if Mason plays
he's going to take 4. The card's fair, right? I mean,
the nice thing about these Rift Bolts is that Mason had a very small board state. But now if Mason wants to build his board state at all, he's putting them at risk of getting taken down by these Rift Bolts. So I really like this.
And not to mention he's going to get hit because of the Eidolon.
All right.
Blast you blink effects. Yeah, we just cast Restoration Angel.
It's
Sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
It's not a Restoration Angel, I can tell you that. All right, it's certainly bringing us down. So
Just a momentary blink.
just a momentary blink. Nice.
Yep.
Cloud shift.
Well, that would make sense with the storm, only it didn't shift.
Exactly. So, a Flint Hoof Boar coming down, Mason taking 2 damage just to attack with that, and swinging for 5, and actually Josh just taking the Curd Ape and blocking that Flint Hoof Boar. That way he's not taking a lot of damage, and these Rift Bolts are about to just do a massive amount of work.
Yeah.
Probably
I would assume
point
he's
him.
gonna... Ooh.
And going for the face means that he probably has enough to close out this game right now.
He just drew the land off the top.
Yep.
And
an Atarka's Command, so we're about to see this game 1 go down. Alright, so That Boros Charm followed up by the Atarka's Command,
Yep.
and Josh about to take a really nice win against this.
Well, it all depends on the modes he chooses on Darkest Command.
That's true. He could pick players can't gain life, and I'll put a land in for my hint.
Yeah, or creatures he controls get +1/+1, and I'm going to put a land in play.
It's certainly possible.
Okay.
And yep, okay. And seeing a pre-game 1 handshake, so Mason showing some extra respect by the looks of it. All right, so heading into game 2, again, we are sorry that we are having some connection issues. If you are brand new, we are having a storm. I still am showing what the Pithing Needle was naming. I'm going to take that down.
Pithing Needle's always naming Kiki Chord, let's be fair.
Excellent, yeah. Questions for slowly crashing on extra turns. He is an excellent resource for that deck. He plays it a lot.
Love that
plays
deck.
it
It's fun.
very well. The reason he gets to be on the screen is because he plays that deck so well. A lot of people even comment in the comments.
Oh, that's great.
Because you were so fluid with it. But thank you for joining. To give a little bit of background, we're waiting for game 2. We've been doing this stream for coming up on about 6 months.
Oh, has it really been 6 months?
It has been about yeah. We started probably around October of last year, something like that.
6 months since then? Jeez.
Well, we've improved a lot.
Time flies.
No kidding. And we are operating on a budget of about 0. And I say about because, if anything, it's significantly less. But it's been an absolute blast, and we're always looking to improve. So if you guys are ever able to give us any kind of feedback, things like that, we are more than happy to receive it and just have a lot of fun doing this. Okay, and it looks like some other power going out. Thank you for tweeting at me. I've actually been really enjoying it. I'm getting new to Twitter. I've been starting to do it a little bit more.
Yeah.
And also, people have been tweeting at me, and it turns out that it's super cool. It's actually a lot of fun to just communicate with people like that.
Yeah.
And I gotta tell you, my favorite thing about this entire experience, everything that we've done for this, is just having fun interacting with the community. I've been a lot more active on Reddit recently. I've been a lot more active on Twitter. I've been a lot more active just in this, and I can't tell you how much fun it's been. So I can't tell you guys enough how great it is.
Mono blue better than blue green. They both have their strengths. They both have their weaknesses. Blue green, it makes you awkwardly kind of annoyed at Blood Moon, although mono blue you don't.
So what's the big draw to blue green? Let's ask that. Why would you run blue
You
green?
run blue green because you get to play explorers. You get to ramp yourself out better, or at least those are the list I've played. Some of them have played different ones. There's some Heartbeat of Spring ones. You can go faster. Blue white also you get to play Narset, which I haven't actually tested yet. That one looks pretty cool. Mono blue you get to play counterspells, which is pretty great. Cryptic Command's really good.
I don't really like counterspells. Have you thought about splashing red for Bolt?
I have. It would not be for Bolt.
Oh man, for Bloodman, right?
No, it'd be for Stitch in Time.
Ooh, oh. Someone clearly saw our Clark's Thumb deck.
Someone clearly played that Clark's Thumb deck.
Yeah, also, if you guys end up following that link to our tapped out page, there is a link on there for Matt's Clark's Thumb combo deck, and it is glorious. Definitely check it out. So, welcome to all the people who are still sticking with us. Looks like we're maintaining about 70 people. Sorry about any connection problems that we are having. It's really bad weather. So, if we go down, I apologize. But thank you to all that 70 people sticking with us through some of our connection problems. You guys are incredible. This is all for you guys. So, all right. Do we think that the Archangel Avacyn will be viable in blue-white control? I am hopeful, but the biggest issue with it, the biggest issue that I have, is that it doesn't interact well with Restoration Angel.
Yeah.
So I like the card, 5 mana. If this ban slows down the meta a decent amount, I'm really excited to see what could happen.
Yep.
So, what appears to be a Treetop Village from Mason, followed by a Stomping Ground shocking into a Goblin Guide, which is going to reveal a Windswept
there we go.
Heath. So,
sometimes you mulligan, sometimes your opponent's Goblin Guide flips you a land.
no kidding, 18 all around. And we have got Mason now sitting with 2 lands. Has a Bolt in hand. I see a Chrysalis Pride Mage.
Deflecting Palm?
He does side in Deflecting Palm, and I actually kind of like it. It's not super common, but because it basically just acts as a Lightning Helix.
Yeah.
As a burn against this burn deck.
I'd rather have Lightning Helix though.
Possibly, but Deflecting Palm does a lot more against things like Boggles and,
it's really good against Boggles.
Infect,
Yeah.
both of which Zoo can have a little bit of issues with
Yeah.
because of sometimes the low density of removal. So, Mason probably going to be fetching in here to get red-white. He does have a Stomping Ground, but really needs that red-white. And might be going for a Quasali Pride Mage if he doesn't have anything with haste.
I think he's going to just... He might search up a basic mountain. Because I think he's got a Flint Hoofboar in his hand.
Okay. Again, I'm seeing a lot of questions, and I really like all the questions in the chat, so I'm not ignoring them. The problem is that we're trying to just cover what's happening on the field, so between games and between rounds, that is an excellent time to get with those questions, especially if the weather is still decent. We'll be trying to stick around after all of the matches, and we'll try and answer a lot of those questions as well, and we'll try and stick around and hang out. So we're not ignoring you if you are brand new or not used to it, but we are very excited to interact with a lot of those questions later. So, a Flint Hoofboar from Mason. It is currently a 3/3 because he does control a mountain. And that's going to do a nice job of getting in the way of this Goblin Guide.
It would, except it's done.
You know, it would have done a really good job of getting in the way of this Goblin Guide. And a swing for 2, revealing a Feed the Clan. And unfortunately, Josh tapped out for that. And he does have a Skullcrack in hand.
Yeah, and I think Mason should... If he's going to play it, he should play it now.
Yeah, and I think... could you ask him to life total check? Because I think Mason is actually at 15.
Check life totals.
All right.
Mason, you
There we
go.
go.
Thank you.
Okay. Does it hit Deflecting Palm? Yes, it does. You can deflect Emrakul.
Because Deflecting Palm does not target.
So, Mason now up to his 3rd land. That Goblin Guide putting him down to 15, and his fetch putting him down to 14.
Yeah, he's at turn 3 and you're at 15. That's pretty good for me.
Yeah, that is actually really excellent, because these only swings have been with the Goblin Guide. Now, Josh has only used 2 cards from his hand.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
So, I'm expecting him to be stacked, and if Mason doesn't use his...
You take your advantages where you can.
Yeah, and I've had a decent amount of conversations with Mason about the utility of Feed the Clan, and how I'm actually not a big fan of it right now.
Yeah.
And what I'm really hoping to see him is, even though it's only for 5, fire it off now.
Yeah.
Because if you wait, then you'll be in trouble. And I think he's firing off the Quasari Pride Mage. Might still work out, because Josh now needs to be very reactive, knowing that that's in Mason's hand.
With that Tarkus command in his hand, he can afford to be very reactive.
True. He can use this. He has 2 bolts and 2 Skullcrack effects. This is exactly what he wants. So, bolting the Quasali Pride Mage, continuing to see Josh really recognize his role as the control deck in this. And I'm really enjoying watching what he's doing.
With Mason having the bolt in his hand.
True, and I would have expected him to bolt that significantly sooner, because bolt, very, very important against those creatures, because if the creatures deal less than 3 damage, they are no longer fulfilling their role within that deck.
Yes,
that is their point. Their point is to deal 3 damage, then you don't care. And if you can prevent that, then you have a really, you're gaining an edge. So, now Mason, probably looking to maybe get the full value off of that. He has a Deflecting Palm, and unfortunately it's not going to do a great job against this Skullcrack. It can prevent the 3 damage, but it's not going to save you the life.
Yeah, the Fleece Main line coming down, though, is going to be pretty good.
Yes, the Fleece Main line is going to be really nice, and it gives him a mana sink later. Fleece Main line, a little bit of an unconventional choice in Zoo, but he doesn't have Tarmogoyfs, and going for more of a mid-rangey, he also runs Knight of the Reliquary. It's a decent 3/3 for 2, similar to Flint Hoofboar, and in the late game, it acts as a decent mana sink.
Yeah.
So, maybe not ideal, but I think it's a 2 of in the deck, and it sometimes plays a nice role.
Yeah.
So...
Scavenging Ooze.
Now, Scavenging Ooze is a pretty nice choice, and with him just passing...
tapped differently.
I agree. Tapping was very odd there, probably keeping up the Deflecting Palm more than anything.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
But I think we're about to see the Bolt go for that Scavenging Ooze. In Scavenging Ooze...
I think I'd use this Deflecting Palm. Deflecting
Palm only deflects it if it would be dealt to you.
Well, never mind.
Yes, not to a creature that you control. So, I really like that, and I think Mason was really trying to keep that. I would have preferred keeping up the green mana to get some value off of that, and a Grim Lavamancer is going to be incredible. So Josh playing very, very well in a matchup that I wouldn't consider him favored in.
No, I would imagine he boarded out Lava Spikes.
Yeah, and I think he probably boarded out Boros Charm as well.
Yeah,
I've had a decent amount of conversation. Like, I think he boarded similar to when I've talked to him about boarding against Affinity. It's very similar to just going to the control route, and if it doesn't hit a creature, you take it out.
Yeah,
because it doesn't have that versatility.
Yeah.
Atarka's command is a little bit different because of the life gain clause, and also you can create some nice blockers. But I am still a big fan. So, Mason has the Fleece Maiden, has a Deflecting Palm, has a Feed the Clan, and one other card that I cannot tell. It looks to be 2 of the same card there at the back of the hand. And
It
so
might be Wooded Foothills.
maybe, and that would be really unfortunate if he had that much land in hand currently, because with already having 5 out on the battlefield,
Yeah.
it's a really unfortunate place to be. All right. So,
Well, it's a Deflecting Palm and a Feed the Clan, I can tell you that much. And those are 2 of his cards.
yep. And we have got an Eidolon coming down for Josh. Still has the mana up. 2 of these fetch lands, which he hasn't activated yet, is pretty nice. So
Yeah.
Mason now in a very dangerous position.
That is a Wild Nikado.
That Wild Nikado going to deal 2 damage.
Brief glimpse.
Yep. So a swing for 3. Josh likely not going to block this.
You use your left total as a resource.
Exactly. And he's not under a lot of pressure.
Oh, that's 2 Feed the Clans.
And the best part is that if he tries to fire off both of these in the same turn, that is where this gets to be very impressive. Because he'll be gaining
Although,
3
if
life per after taking the
he
Eidolon
can
damage.
respond to one of these fetches and fire off both of them.
That's a really great point. But I'm not sure if... And this is where we would want to see
This is where
it.
I would do it.
But it looks like we are not going to see that. That is a... Mason, if you're watching this later,
Yeah.
I know that a decent amount of people do, but Mason,
this would be the place. to
this
fire
is your
both off.
opportunity.
Yep.
If you're worried about a 2-mana spell, then
Yep.
this is the time.
Remember-
Night to Night, hello. Sorry.
Still pull it off right now.
Still has an opportunity going for this. And actually, if Mason is going to fire it off, it is right now.
Yeah.
You shoot off both of those. You go up to... And it looks like going for it. But tapping green for it.
Yeah.
So in a problematic position, only going to gain
Can you
5.
Deflecting Palm do a creature?
Can you Deflecting Palm through like this source? It just is a source.
No, the Grim Lavamancer.
Oh, you would be able to Deflecting Palm that.
So
yes.
you could Deflecting Palm that to kill. The
Oh
Eidolon.
no, it deals it to their controller.
Oh,
I'm sorry, it doesn't even
okay.
target the player.
That's what
Yes.
that's what I was asking.
Okay. So we have got Josh. Okay, so we're heading into Mason's turn. Josh just passing the turn has a Skullcrack and an Atarka's Command. Not getting very aggressive yet because of that Wild Nikado.
Yeah.
And we've got a
I
swing
like
for
this
6. Josh going, if he doesn't block, going down to 9. And it looks like just going for that because if Mason plays anything, he'll be going down to 10, which is not a bad place to be. And with Josh holding 6 points of burn in his hand,
Yep.
and
then,
having this Grim Lavamancer as an option, so going down to 10 could put him down to 8, and then using another Grim Lavamancer activation, as well as those 2 things, as long as he's got enough cards in his hand, he's going to be able to take down Mason.
Yep. Having this, although the Skullcrack is going to be really awkward against Deflecting Palm.
True, that Deflecting Palm is probably going to play a decent role in this, and we might almost just see Josh take his time, because next turn Mason's going to try firing off that to Feed the Clan, and making him choose between the 2.
Yep.
If you can force, I would probably try leading with the Atarka's Command, because then you might bait him out doing both attacks.
Yeah. It's very, very odd matchup.
Yeah. I might almost pick the Atarka's Command going for 3 damage and then actually plussing the team.
Yeah, I would too.
Because then you can swing in with this Eidolon basically carefree. And it forces Mason to have some sort of answer. And if he goes for it right now...
I believe he's going for Deflecting Palm.
And going for the Deflecting Palm. So...
And he goes to 6.
And, that's probably just fine.
And then he's going to fire off the Skullcrack and snap this off here.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that is going to be so unfortunate.
Yeah.
So Mason gonna go down to 4 and then go back up to 9.
Yep.
And Josh really running out of options as far as taking this game back. Could use the Grim Lavamancer right now, but that's not really even worth it.
Yeah.
Has an Eidolon in hand, but Josh about to go down to 2 because of this Deflecting Palm.
Actually, the way it's worded, I believe, it only deals damage if it's prevented, and Skullcrack says damage can't be prevented this turn.
Oh, you're right. So actually, you are correct. That's not going to prevent any of it. So Mason is still going to take a decent amount, end up at 6 life.
He's going to go to 3 actually. Yeah, because damage can't be prevented here. Yep.
That's true. Man, this deck is fantastic.
Yeah, it's got some weird interactions here.
And because of this plus, Unfortunately, I think what we're going to see is Josh pass the turn, and he has the capability of blocking, activating the Grim Lava Mancer, casting the Eidolon. So that's going to block 3 different things.
Yep.
So that's going to be on the battlefield. He has another Eidolon in hand. That's not going to be excellent, but he has this... So if Mason wants to cast anything, he's going to be going down to 1. So he can't cast anything in the face of the Grim Lava Mancer.
No, but Mason has 4 attackers next turn. Still has the Treetop Village.
That's a really good point. And I'm not sure if Josh is fully aware of that as it currently sits. But... and that Grim Lava Mancer isn't going to kill any of them. So it's down to Mason noticing that as well, though.
Yeah.
And Mason, with no cards in hand, probably will.
Yeah.
So
that's why you play. Creature lands.
It's probably why you play mainlands.
Yeah.
And especially since he can't even be casting spells, he's going to be looking for alternate uses of his mana. The only thing that I could see him maybe is if he's been focusing on the Fleece Mainland activation.
Yeah, maybe.
We could see him go for that.
No. Yeah.
And he's activating that Treetop Village. And that is going to be a win. And we're going to see a game 3 out of this.
Yeah.
Okay, so I am getting ready here.
I would assume anyway. I guess
Okay. Whew.
Yep.
And picking up the cards. So, game 2 going to Mason with 2 Feed the Clans. That is fantastic. So, to say hello to everyone joining us. Hello, my name is TJ.
I'm Coleman.
And we are streaming from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. Thank you so much for joining us. As a forewarning, we're having a little bit of internet issues recently.
It's the way the weather works.
Yes, we are in the middle of a very heavy storm in our area. We're out of Snohomish, Washington, and if you want to check the weather report, it's pretty wicked out there.
It's pretty bad.
So we might end up losing power every now and then, and we apologize deeply. If it does go down for a moment, try hitting that refresh. We've been coming back up pretty quickly. If we go down and it doesn't seem to go up, if you want to follow me or just find me on Twitter, I will be letting you know if we just lose power, and that's it for the night, and I would find that very regrettable. Grim Lava Mancer asking, did I sign that mountain? Yes. Yes, I did. It's still very weird to me, but I have signed like 9 cards from people just in the store, and they're like, so you want to... So there's also a Bolt in Mason's deck that is signed by me, and it's the weirdest thing. But basically it started off as a joke. I ended up signing a couple cards, and now it's just super weird. But, you know, I'm always happy to devalue other people's property. That's kind of what it came down to.
Yeah, I think someone has an island that I signed like 3 years ago.
Did you really?
Yeah, I signed an island 3 years ago.
Nice. Night tonight, you are near Seattle. I hope to see you come join us for some Modern or some
definitely.
Legacy sometime. I would love that. As we're waiting for Game 2, I'll tell anybody who's brand new. And if you are brand new, let us know in the chat. I would love to see who is new to the stream today.
Yeah, definitely.
But we stream Wednesdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Wednesdays at 7 is Modern. Fridays at 7:30 is Legacy. Saturdays at 6 is Modern. Again, these are all Pacific Standard Time. So it's currently 8:30-ish here. And I will have another announcement at the end of this game about a Grand Prix trial coming up in which we will both be spending 8 hours talking to you.
It's going to be great.
Alright. Okay, as people would say.
Yep, that is what people say.
So...
I mean, I have my personal dog in this race. I'm not going to say who. It's Mason.
Alright, and someone asking, do we ever stream Standard? Unfortunately, we do not. Standard right now, not producing a huge amount of viewers. We tried it once. Unlikely. Maybe in the future. I'm certainly open to it in the future.
Yeah,
I find
definitely.
myself actually, like, the gap between Saturday streaming and Wednesday streaming, almost every night I'm like, man, I hope I get to... No streaming tonight. It's like I'm getting really excited about it, so depending on Standard next season, maybe, depending on what kind of viewership we can expect, because unfortunately we are trying to get a Twitch partnership at one point so that we can have any amount of income from this, because right now we basically just lose money. Speaking of which, there's a donate button at the bottom if you want to support us.
Smooth transition. We are definitely not playing AVR sealed. I don't care what Dylan says.
Alright.
He can take it up with me. That's fine.
Doro being absolutely hilarious. I'm gonna grace Doro, even though he has the capability of... That is actually hilarious. Alright. So... What do we think about the new Bloom list, Titan list? You know what? Someone actually tweeted that to me, and it looks super sweet. But it reminds me of just a Knightfall deck mixed in with the Bloom deck.
Yeah.
But I like it. All right.
I like the 1-drop though.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm always a fan of Kamigawa cards.
All right. So we have a Goblin Guide off of a fetch into a Sacred Foundry. Going for that white one initially is a little bit curious, and it makes me think that he might have a path in hand.
Interesting that Mason kept Boros Charm in.
Yeah, and Josh, well, Mason being the aggressor. And that is incredible. With only one land, I hope that Mason does fetch to get rid of it. I hope that he's aware of that. But I am a huge fan of that. So we have a swing for 3 coming in right here. And the interesting thing is going for this white source. Likely he took out his Boros Charms. He might still have them in, but
he has a bolt.
Oh, and going for a bolt is pretty interesting. Going for that card.
Going for the Swift Spear over the Goblin Guide.
I think that I can agree with that choice. It's less damage at the moment, but will be more damage later. But I still think, and actually he did keep in the Boros Charm, so that's actually kept in 2 of them. So that's a lot of damage in hand. With Mason already down to 13, he's in a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So the biggest issue right now, Josh not having mana.
Yeah.
Josh has got nothing but 1 mana burn spells, and we're going to see a swing.
Hey, there's a land.
All right. Again, with a lot of questions, I would love to answer those, but more between games and rounds.
Yes, definitely.
Spoilers begin next Monday to answer Champaka, since that's a really easy question.
Mm-hmm.
So, Mason putting in a tap stomping ground has a...
I think he has a bonfire in his hand.
I don't... Oh my goodness, you are right, he does. So, a Scavenging Ooze from Mason. That's going to start gaining him some life.
Josh has, I believe...
And he just
4
has
2-drops in his hand.
And actually still has a Lava Spike here. So
it's interesting. He didn't board out Lava Spike.
Yeah, his sideboard might have been interesting, and it could be that he just didn't bring in a whole lot.
Yeah.
I know that there are Lightning Helixes in the sideboard, so maybe he brought in those, but I'm not sure what he took out at this point, because I've seen Rift Bolts, and I've seen Lava Spikes, and I've seen Boros Charms, and those are kind of the first 3 things that I would initially question. The only thing is maybe some number of his
this block here.
Being on the play here might have kept in some Eidolons. So, by the way, anyone looking for that Bloom list, if you want to follow me on Twitter, someone did send it to me, and I will try to retweet it and get it out there. Boom. Look at me nailing it with this whole self-plug. I'm getting better at this.
Yeah.
Maybe. I don't know. Am I? So, a Rift Bolt from Josh.
Tweet at either of us to tell us if we're doing better.
Yeah, seriously. And it looks like that Scavenging was going for a block against that Goblin Guide.
Yep.
So just a simple trade here. A little bit thrown off by that, but with him having so many mana issues, I would have liked keeping that Scavenging.
I think I would have definitely blocked, because it's not like the Scavenging is going to be able to eat anything. There's only 1 creature in the graveyard.
That's a reasonable point.
Yeah.
And, a decent amount of removal coming out, so that's a good point. Without any prospects of what to eat, I think you are. I think you're liking it.
Flint Hoof Boar here. Probably just... Oh, well, yeah, there's no creature on the other side. I was thinking you should block, but there's nothing to block.
Nope. Swinging in for 3, going down to 14, and this Rift Bolt taking on the Flint Hoof Boar, so still keeping in this control mentality. With only 1 mana, that's pretty difficult to do, and pretty impressive to be so steadfast with it.
And Josh's hand currently is a Tarka's Command, Boros Charm, Eidolon. Which is not very good when you only have 1 land in play.
Alright. And I'm going to find that Bloom deck right now.
Oh, right. I forgot about the Swift Spear. So there are actually 2 creatures in the graveyard.
Ooh, that is true. And that would have kept it surviving.
Yep. He got there.
Alright. And I just retweeted that list. It is actually just to a Reddit link.
Yes, the old boom go.
Alright. So he still has access, and Mason's at 8, and he has 2 Boros Charms in his hand. This is incredible.
Boros Charm, you could have 4.
Alright, so.
Oh, Mason. Oh, Mason. You need to be careful with your draw steps. He drew a Bonfire but didn't miracle it.
Ooh, because he just drew it too quickly?
Yeah, he drew it too quickly.
And we are going to see double Boros Charm for the Game 3 win.
That's super unfortunate.
Fantastic. I mean, it's really hard to dislike that.
No.
Especially because I don't know if you guys have heard, but I'm an advocate for burn.
I'm an advocate of decks that beat burn, so go figure.
Alright, and if you guys are looking for that, I just retweeted. It is to a Reddit link, but in that link they post a lot about that deck, and you can find some information about it. So, we're going to go back up to us in the booth. If you guys do have any of those questions, comments, feedback, anything like that, now is a great time, and I can actually answer them. Unfortunately, I don't remember what those questions were, so if you have them, just put @KeekFortress in your question, and we'll try and answer them. Would you like to try and find us another match real quickly?
I will try.
Thank you so much, Coleman. You are the cream of the crop.
Awesome.
I'll see you guys in the booth. Okay, and thank you for joining me. My name is TJ. It is incredible to have over 100 people here right in round 2. I believe that we are about, we're going to have, I think, 4 rounds tonight, and it is going to be a blast. I do remember that someone talked about what my favorite format is. My favorite format tonight is Modern. It is my absolute favorite. I have a lot of fun with it. And then everything else from that, you know, I can't say that I really dislike any formats, but that is the one that I like the most. Did I see the Elves combo at GP Detroit? Unfortunately, I haven't had a huge opportunity to catch up. As some people are aware, I've been pretty busy with a job interview process lately, as well as some other things, trying to get some other aspects of my life nailed down. So I haven't been able to review it yet, but I'm guessing that it might have to do with the biorhythm sideboard tech, and if so, it is glorious in Elves. Dang it. I said, best part of GP Detroit? Probably. Do we think that we can see some Mana Clash tonight? Unfortunately, I don't believe that the Crux Thumb player is here tonight. He is only here on weekends. He comes in with Troy. Both of them are in the Navy, and they actually make a pretty decent commute here just to come and play with us. Favorite burn spell not named Lightning Bolt? Ooh, that is a fantastic question. I will probably go with, does Tybalt count because he does a -4? Otherwise, to toss out a quick anecdotal story, someone asked me when Cons came out what my favorite card in Cons was, and I said Seed Rhino because it was the best burn spell, and burn spells have not gotten much better since. It kind of displeases me with Standard. So, let's say... Oh, I don't... that's a tricky one. Bolt is definitely the favorite. Price of Progress, really good one. Let's go with Price of Progress. I like that. My favorite combo. Ooh, my favorite combo. That is a pretty tricky one. The Crux Thumb combo is a whole lot of fun. But mostly I like ones that loop into just a draw. Man, what? Oh, can you link me the Kiki Chord player, his Twitter? I do not know what the Kiki Chord player's Twitter is. But... to There Is No Comp 2, you can post links. Please be very sparing with it. We don't really like a whole lot of links taking it up. So my favorite combo right now, just to save the clarity of time... Oh, here's mine. Unfortunately, it is Legacy legal now, but a Splinter Twin onto your Dryad Arbor while you have a Retreat to Coral Helm out. Create infinite lands, attack with them, win. That is my favorite combo. Alright, favorite 3-color combination in Modern? Logical Glitch, asking a great question that I wrestle with myself a lot. And it's pretty interesting because initially I want to go with something red. But I have a lot of difficulty going beyond that, and I think I want to say Naya because it is the best as far as burn goes and zoo and things like that. But I'm really iffy on the favorite color combination because if you ask me my favorite shard, I like Esper the most flavorfully because, you know, I like artifacts and things like that as well. So I'm going to say Naya because it's red and then it has the Boros Charm as well as a Tarkus Command in those colors. They should make a zombie planeswalker. Unfortunately, unlikely to happen. I would love to see it happen, but they don't tend to go with undead things very often because you technically have to be alive to have a spark. I know, it's a little bit prejudiced of them against the undead, but sometimes you gotta let them have a little bit.
No one is available for a third game.
That's okay. Are they all just on their game 3s?
Yes.
Okay, that means that we're gonna be hanging out. Stick with us. Don't go away. We do have more Magic coming. It's going to be a blast. We have 2 more rounds, just a couple of people finishing up their game 3 at the moment. Coleman now in the booth, and if you guys want to play a game of 6 words, let us know. Put at Geek Fortress 6 words and then a question. We'll answer with only exactly 6 words. Maybe we don't always get the most strict with that, but we pretend that we do.
All those up numbers.
Do we know any good modern decks in Esper colors? I have been working on it recently with a guy named Eric Donaldson who's in the store.
Yep, he was actually on camera around one.
Yes, unfortunately he was playing Blue Moon, but we do kind of have an Esper deck. Also, I made Esper Delver back in the day, which was awful. But
I mean, Esper Mentor's still a deck, right?
Esper Mentor is a deck, but it's not great, and especially in Eldrazi meta.
Yeah.
But Esper Mentor is a decent deck. It's not great. I think Esper Control is more what you're looking for.
I think so, yeah.
And I'm hoping that Thing in the Ice will help that out a little bit. Okay.
Sorry if I just came back in here, but I just noticed someone asked about elves.
Mm-hmm.
I built the elves deck, actually.
From the GP?
From the GP.
And is that the one with Cloudstone Curio
It is.
and Biorhythm in the sideboard? Because that's
I
what I assumed
I
it was.
did not buy Biorhythms.
Oh, you are the
Unfortunately.
worst. You are the worst. Okay. As for is Emrakul on Innistrad, honestly, I'm hoping not. That would be pretty unsatisfying to me to see the big thing move over. I would understand it, and if they do it in a cool way, I will get behind it. But if it just becomes Zendikar 2 Electric Boogaloo, I'm going to be very dissatisfied because Innistrad has got a really good thing going for it.
Yeah.
What do you think of Huntmaster and Chord? 6 words.
It's really sweet with Restoration Angel.
I'm always a fan of Burn, and he kind of counts when he flips.
Wow.
Yeah, to be more realistic, I don't think that he's bad, but I don't think that he acts as enough of a toolbox creature to really enable it when you could go for something like Piankir and Nalar instead, which probably does a better slot in that particular deck. 6 words. Which plane do you want to revisit and why?
Ooh. Dominaria, because mechanics are awesome.
Nice. New Phyrexia, because affinity, or Chandra's. Yeah, like Regatha, something like a very centered one. What I would like.
Kamigawa is also sweet. I would love to
Honestly,
go back to Kamigawa.
Unfortunately, Kamigawa unlikely to happen. Hey, some people asking us how we are today. I'm really excellent.
I'm not bad. Traffic was awful, but
traffic was really awful. But I'm really, things are going well for me. They're looking up. That job search is going well. Or at least the interview. I haven't heard back yet. I should hear back early to mid next week, but good signs are happening.
Huh?
So maybe I may be a 23-year-old with a career, which wow, that would be very exciting for me. So the good ideas for a new plane. Let's see here. An interesting plane. The problem is, I mean, going beyond something that's already been suggested, some ideas that I like. One is a dinosaur plane, like a Prehistoria.
That'd be pretty cool.
Another one that I like is like a Western tropes. Like Dark Tower.
That'd be cool.
Like Dark Tower.
Oh, I would love that.
Yeah. So those are kind of the two that I really like more than anything. An Egyptian one would also be very cool.
Yeah. I'd actually like to see a Kamigawa block that's not Kamigawa.
Yes, I would like that as well. Like I like the mechanics of Kamigawa.
Yeah.
I would like the Japanese lore, but I would not like it to be so deeply ingrained.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest. I know a lot of people disagree. I personally don't want to go back to Kamigawa because I can't relate to that plane very well. And there's nothing against it. It did a lot of cool things, but overall it didn't do much for me to get excited about except the cards and the mechanics, and you can make those in any plane.
Yeah.
What does Pia... So, okay, what makes Pia and Kieran so much better? One is that it is an immediate 3-for-1, that with Restoration Angel is probably better. The fact that it also is enabling Reach.
Yeah.
It gives you flyers, which are really good. It acts as almost like a Lingering Souls in red. And also the reach that it gives you, and it gives you a little bit of removal.
You also have colorless blockers for Etch Champion, which is way bigger than you even realize.
6 words. I or Temple Ban, and why?
Too much reach and...
Man, you gotta power through. I'm saying I, because it's pod-ish.
Yeah.
Norse plane. I love it. That would be super cool.
Oh, I'd do that.
As far as spec on lore for Nahiri is supposedly calling Emrakul to Innistrad, destroy and get back at Soren. I'm not sure. I like more the idea that Avacyn was made out of the moon, and the moon is a rock, so Nahiri might be able to control Avacyn.
That'd be cool.
I'm liking that one more than anything. But I don't know. Emrakul, if they could do it in a cool way, I'll get behind it. But it better not be just like... It better not be retconned. It better not just be lazy.
Yeah. I mean, I've heard all the stuff about Merit Legion. Merit Legion would be cooler.
6 words. What gimmicky deck do you want to see happen in Modern?
Oh...
I am going to say, what gimmicky deck do I want to see in Modern? I mean, I like Krark's Thumb. Oh no, a Tibalt deck.
Oh yeah, I was going to say.
Tibalt, easy.
This is easy for you.
Oh, this is 6 words. That is easy. Tibalt.deck. Get a little bit scooted more in. You keep getting half off. Alright.
Alright, hold on. I'm sure I can come up with one.
You gotta power through. This is 6 words. 6 words requires no thought.
Tough question. Probably something involving timely reinforcements.
It counts. It counts. 6 words describing the Egyptian plane. Probably knee deep in flavor. Word.
What's the best word? Word, obviously.
Exactly.
Let's see. Whatever it is has to be better than 3000 BC.
Nice. Nice.
Or 30,000 BC, sorry.
Alright. What else have we got? What are the thoughts on Norin the Wary in Modern? That better be max. But I love Norin the Wary in Modern. I think that it's basically the deck for an EDH player.
Yeah, definitely.
If you like triggers, it's Tumblr.deck.
Also, Legacy Elves.
Yeah, it does a nice job of being almost a fair deck that has some potential to get unfair.
Yeah.
But still not strictly unfair. So
yeah, you also, I think, have a pretty decent Eldrazi matchup.
Mm-hmm.
Not great, but not awful.
Certainly. Right.
Not as good as upwards.
If you ban Eye, you get double Temple Madness with turn 2 Thought-Knots here. If you ban Temple, you get Inconsistent Power. No, I agree. I agree that one of the lands will get banned, and I have very few strong feelings on which one will get banned. I think both of them might put it into a pretty reasonable thing. But I'm not super concerned about it. I think that as long as the deck functions in something similar to how Oath was, I liked the deck. The deck was cool. I'm just tired of this one.
Also, the best way I've heard it described is Eldrazi Temple is City of Traders. But you in the decks with Urborg, it's Mishra's Workshop. But in the deck, even with the decks without it, it's a City of Traders that you've tapped multiple times a turn.
Sometimes, yeah. It's definitely like more cards per turn or more power over time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, Tron players can just not. It's fine.
All right. So what else do
You're not going to get any sympathy for Tron from me.
No. Hexmage with the new blue flip creature. Honestly, I'm not sure if they need it.
No.
The Hexmage creature isn't fantastic to me.
It's only 4 spells.
Yeah, 4 spells is already what you're planning on doing in that game anyway. I'd test without it. If you need it, go for it. But I don't think that it's worth putting into an Esper deck when you're already going to be flipping it consistently anyway. Okay. And I think... Ooh, can we explain scheme cards? To Jork's Gotcha. Yes.
Those are from Plane Chase?
Yeah, those are...
Okay.
No, schemes are from Arch Enemy.
Oh.
Yeah. So what happens is that you have a separate deck. You are the arch enemy against all of your opponents. It's multiplayer. It's 1v all. What happens is that at each of your turns you flip a scheme. It is a pre-made deck. Turns out if you get to build your own, it gets super busted. Can confirm. Anyway, when you flip Take an Extra Turn into Take an Extra Turn, it's so good. I was on my turn 6 when they were going into turn 3. It was glorious. So.
Well, you don't need to tell me how good Taking Turns is.
Yeah, and it's like... this was back in EDH. So, but what they do is they have an effect that happens each time, and it's supposed to level the playing field between you as a single player against sometimes 3 opponents. Oftentimes it will give you a huge boost. In EDH, definitely. In 60 card, less of a boost, but in EDH, those cards get busted. It's like, take a card from each of them. Great, I'll take a Progenitus. It used to be a Primeval Titan. And like, it's just like, yeah, okay, I can...
I forgot Primeval Titan got banned.
Yeah, I know. Alright, so, hello to Kobe the Cheese. They like your hat?
Yeah, a lot of Mariners fans. Great.
Always nice.
I can talk for like 3 hours about the Mariners.
How are we looking out there really quick?
We got about 5 minutes left.
Excellent. Okay, so...
It was a, what was it, Hate Bears versus Soul Sisters deck, a matchup that was going to like pretty sure it's going to end in one-player decking.
All right. So, Coleman, what is your modern weapon of choice from Geolovmancer?
Ooh, that's a good question. I have like 5 or 6 different decks, though. But the primary one is Absent Company.
Nice. Okay.
So good.
It's a very good deck.
Yeah. I've got that. I've got Kiki Chord, which is also good. Taking Turns, which is still probably my favorite deck. Just because it's...
Burn is my favorite, Affinity is my competition,
Yeah.
Taking Turns is your favorite, Obzon's your competition deck.
Yeah. Well, I have Elves built. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get that fully.
So, do I think that Thing in the Ice is overhyped? No. I don't think that it's overhyped. I think that it is hyped, and that hype may be...
I think it's properly hyped.
It's properly hyped, and I think that until we get actual testing in, it should continue to be hyped, because the deck card has a lot of potential. Whether or not that will transfer well to whatever kind of meta that we have, and even testing it right now does a little bit, but not a ton, because these bannings are going to change the meta a lot. And I wouldn't say that Thing in the Ice is good right now, but it might be down the line.
Yeah.
So, I do think that once we get some testing, we'll have more definitive data, and I know that that's an extremely obvious thing to say, but I do think that it is an appropriately hyped card, and I'm excited to see if it actually can earn its slot in that thing. There's no Come 2. When are we going to get Time Spiral 2 with the old Planeswalkers?
Unfortunately, I don't think that's ever happening.
I think Coleman is correct.
Yeah.
I'd love to see it happen. I like a lot of things, but I think that what we are looking at is commander sets and supplemental sets really being the most...
Yeah,
that's the deepest that we're going to go into that. Because
unfortunately, I know all the competitive players really like Time Spiral. I'm one of them. I love Time Spiral. It's just so much fun.
It's really good
Especially
with
the
franchise
draft.
players.
Especially drafting. There's so many mechanics. It's awesome.
I wish
it's like you're cubing, but you have actual packs.
I'm so upset that Madness and Flashback aren't on a single card. That would be absurdly good.
There's
I know,
Madness
Old
and Cycling.
Fogey. There's Old Fogey on a card.
Ooh.
Yeah.
But no, Wizards, I think it was a couple years ago, realized that there's a big market between casual and competitive, and that was Time Spiral, because Time Spiral was not a very good selling block.
In fact, one of the blocks that led us to New World Order, which, however you feel about it, I think has done a lot of good for Magic as far as being welcoming to the newer players.
Yes, definitely.
And while I think that a decent amount of our viewership is those in franchise players, by the way, quick side note, we're at over 100 of people as we have just been sitting here talking, waiting for more Magic.
Ooh.
You guys are incredible
Yeah,
for apparently appreciating what we have to say. I don't know, but I'm enjoying talking to you guys, so thank you for sticking around. Don't worry, more Magic coming very soon. But I think that a decent amount of our viewership, some of them new players who are trying to get into the game,
Yeah, that's fine.
and then a bunch of them kind of the heavily in franchise players. And so I think that even in our own viewership, we would have a lot of people who are very a fan of Time Spiral, because that block was sweet, even looking back at it.
Also, New World Order is very good for draft.
All right.
Like, it's very good for limited.
Yes, it is an excellent limited set. Also, to Terran Terror 1. If you haven't joined us, I'm not sure if I've seen his name before. Welcome. Thank you for joining, and maybe we'll get some more people from those other streams. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with stealing from other streams when they end.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. And to Zorak Zero, hello to Canada. It's exciting to see all of you. And pretty much to everyone, I know that there's a wide variety of countries and viewerships here, so hello from the Pacific Northwest to all of you. I hope that you aren't experiencing the same weather that we are, but I know that some of you who are local to us are. All right, where's Old Brunswick? Love it.
It's a conspiracy. They don't want us to find Old Brunswick.
What?
It's probably in England somewhere.
I mean, definitely true. So, did you see some matches lining up there? Are they pretty much on turns and getting ready to go now?
They're still on turns, I believe.
My goodness.
Time has been called literally right now.
Okay, so our timer was a little bit ahead. Apologies for that. So we're getting that ready, but they are now on turns, and that means that we are just 5 turns away from a new round. So, I'm going to get some stuff ready here.
Oh, wow. Flash flooding in Memphis.
Oh, my goodness. Where's this LGS located? We are in Snohomish, Washington. It is in the Pacific Northwest of America, which is surprising. I'm sorry, it's actually the United States. If you consider America, that would be Canada. But
yeah, I guess
of the United States. So, nonetheless, we are a little bit north of Seattle, east of Everett. If you happen to know that one, that's one that's a little bit more specific. If you're ever in the area, come join us. I'd love to. Actually, it's been a lot of fun talking to various people.
Yeah.
I've got to meet a couple of people who I've only seen on the stream, and it's really cool to meet you guys. So
Yeah.
I hope that you guys do find the opportunity to come up and hang out with us sometime. I know that you've got a big store there, but
Oh, shout out from Germany.
ooh, yeah, that's
Yeah,
pretty
look
cool.
at that.
All right, so, but to Earth, honestly, I hope that everything is okay in Memphis. Flash floods are never good.
Yeah.
And I do hope that things end well with it.
Hope
so
you and your family are safe too.
exactly. Man, someone ended up making a dream game, and I keep saying and it was for that. But and I'm really excited because the amount of people who come from different areas. So, people asking from a bunch of different things, kind of running out of the question. So let's talk about some interesting things. And what is the spoiler that you are most excited for?
Ooh, that's really interesting.
Apart from Thing in the Ice,
I was going to
go with
say
that
we
one.
might be thinking the ice. I really like Fiery Temper. I think that card's really cool,
Fiery Temper,
but it's a
okay.
reprint, so I'm not sure that counts.
It also hasn't officially been spoiled.
Yeah.
You're just theorizing.
Yeah, sure, right. I actually like Brain in a Jar. I think that card's really funny.
Brain in a Jar is interesting.
I like that the 4/3 or 4/4 with Madness and Haste.
Yes.
That card I really like.
The Incorrigible Youth.
Oh, and Declaration in Stone.
Honestly, I'll be honest. I don't think that Declaration in Stone is at all modern playable.
I think it's really cool,
But
I mean I don't think it solves a lot of the problems that everyone thinks it's gonna solve.
yeah, and it's sorcery speed more than anything.
Yeah.
The sorcery speed on it is very backbreaking as far as my
I mean,
consideration of that
Hallowed Moonlight stops a lot of the cards too,
mm-hmm.
but that's not even. I haven't seen that card at all.
Yes. So, New Avacyn is going straight. I think that New Avacyn is one of those cards to where I cannot properly evaluate the card.
Yeah, I can't either.
I don't play the decks that it would
Yeah.
go into, and I just can't properly evaluate it. I think that I've even seen people talk about putting it into Obzon Company, because
I
you
don't-
can court it out, and then using the sack outlet, you get a Wrath at the next turn.
Yeah,
Or
but
a
I mean,
Anger.
I think just that's with me. I always want to maximize my company targets, and I've actually considered dropping Red Cap, which you can't ever do, which is fine. But I also play Spike Feeder and Archangel, so Avacyn just feels like a bad Archangel.
And we have got Peter and Nathan, so we are actually going to be getting Kiki Chord back up
Ooh.
versus the all foiled out Jund deck. So this is actually going to be a really sweet matchup. And go ahead and tell me a little bit about what we can expect for people who may not be familiar with this.
Okay, so this matchup is actually probably favored for Kiki Chord, depending on how the draws go and if Peter doesn't have a lot of discard. Because practically every card in Kiki Chord is there to outvalue you.
Okay.
And Jund is not very good at operating when your opponent plays cards that are like PA and Karen.
True.
And when you have access to Eternal Witness and Chord, which Chord is not the best here since you don't have a single silver bullet card that kills a lot of the Jund cards. But I still think that Kiki Chord is favored.
Alright. Yeah, I have to agree. I don't want to miss any of the games, so let's head on down. We'll see you at the field of battle, of the planar battle. See you down there. Nailed it.
It's a possible battle for Zendikar.
I am checking my settings to see if I can receive messages right now or if that is something that I actually need to change. I'm not actually sure if it's possible, but if it's at Red Baron MTG, you should be able to send one. But I think that I can receive messages. I don't know. If anybody else can receive... I don't know. I honestly don't. I have received some messages, actually. Never mind. So I should be able to get some. Okay.
You can Chord Mirror Superior, yes.
That is very cool.
You can also cast it with Simian Spirit Guide.
And apparently our feed is broke.
No.
So we have got a breeding pool into a Birds of Paradise from Nathan, a really solid start, exactly what he's looking for. And Peter going for a fetch, it appears, with that Bloodstained Mire.
Yeah.
All right. To answer the captain's question, we are having a very large storm in our area tonight. And so some of our things have been flickering, and we might end up losing power. It's a possibility, though the grid for the store is actually on a really good grid, so it's unlikely. But if it happens, I'm sorry. All right. Let's see here.
Yeah, Peter does have everything foil. That's kind of the joke, we call it tribal foil Jund.
Mm-hmm. It is an extremely shiny deck, so it is incredible. So a Stomping Ground for Peter. No black. He does have a basic Swamp in hand, so maybe going to be seeing some disruption that way. And actually going with a Black Leaf Cliffs, but none of this hand disruption yet is speaking very well for Nathan's chances.
Yeah, definitely.
The heavy...
I was going to say, it's very interesting that he has the blue splash. I'm not sure if that is going to change anything.
Mm-hmm. So we have got 2 bolts, the Judge promo bolts, taking down 2 Birds of Paradise, and now we have an Inquisition of Kozilek coming up afterwards, so maybe just saving that bolt as a Resurgence.
Looks like 1 target.
And only taking down that Voice of Resurgence. Otherwise, we actually have a Glen Elendra Archmage, which is such a cool card.
Yep, I think I would have liked to have seen Nathan just play the Voice instead of playing the Raging Ravine tapped, because you know you're not going to have anything on turn 3 anyway.
Yeah. And he did have the mana in hand, so I think delaying your curve for not a huge amount of upside, because your turn 3 would have been empty.
Yeah.
I have to agree that might have been a better option to go for there. All right.
Yep, cannot be an alpha foil. Alpha did not have foil.
Yes, those are Judge foils.
Yep.
So, we have got a Dark Confidant revealing an Abrupt Decay for Peter, putting him down to 17, but all things considered, not a bad reveal. That takes down a lot of the power cards in Nathan's deck, and that's going to keep him from comboing off for a decent amount. All right.
Yeah, this is pretty much exactly how Peter wants to sequence this game.
Yeah, taking down the birds and then following it up with a hand disruption suite, leaving Nathan with very little. And now we actually do have a Huntmaster.
Yeah.
Huntmaster, not quite yet, but it is going to have some new rules.
Yeah, as is all of the transform cards.
Which I can get behind. I think that the rules make the cards better, but it actually makes them play a lot more as intended, more than anything else.
Yeah, it makes a lot more intuitive sense.
Mm-hmm.
Your 4-drop's still going to be a 4-drop instead of your 4-drop becoming 0.
Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to find out what the records are.
Well, I would assume Nathan is 1-1 since.
Sorry.
we'll get on Peter about that. Don't worry.
We will tell him. We're gonna have to acid wash some foil cards and just make him some tokens.
Yep.
So Nathan down to 15, and we're actually seeing this Dark Confidant attack, which is just the coolest thing, because you basically have free attacks. With him not having a board, you rarely see Dark Confidant get aggressive, but I really like him being able to use that right now, and recognizing that is an option.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
This Bob is going to town, though.
And that Dark Confidant, I'm sorry, I missed what it revealed. Did you happen
it was
to see?
a Raging Ravine that I just played.
Okay,
so
keeping the least amount of information
we've
going.
got Glen Elendra Archmage as pretty cool card, if I do say so myself.
Yes, it is extremely, extremely cool.
Yeah.
And what it does is, we just had it up, but it when it enters the battlefield, you get to, or I'm sorry, it doesn't. You can pay a blue and sacrifice it to counter target non-creature
spell. It's a negate.
Except it does it again.
Yep.
Because
it has persist.
It has persist. So there is a counter there. That Ravager falling and taking down the Glen Elendra, as well as dealing 2 damage to Nathan. Peter in a very good position right now.
Yeah,
that
definitely.
Ravager of the Fells as a 4/4, along with that Wolf token. He's going to be applying a lot of pressure, and Nathan just doesn't really have the tools as it currently sits to fight it off.
Yeah, although he does have a Revel Arc in his hand, which... I believe he has a worship, too.
A worship is going to be very good. He only has a terminate and abrupt decay. It basically comes down to a maelstrom pulse to remove that, which is going to be pretty impressive. But Peter having an abrupt decay as well as syndrome removal might almost have the tools to actually eliminate Nathan's board presence and go for the kill that way, especially because he runs Jund Charm in his main board. And that Jund Charm is going to do a huge amount of sweeping this field if he ends up drawing into it.
The Revel Arc here. Revel Arc is very, very good against Jund.
Mm-hmm. All right. So there is a Revel Arc coming in, and that is going to... Looks like that is not the evoke cost.
No, he's just casting it.
I like that. I don't think I very rarely see that one hard cast. Okay. So that Revel Arc, when it comes into the battlefield, nothing
when it leaves.
But sorry, it is a 4/3 flying, so that's a pretty decent clock, all things considered.
It'll also trade with Ravager.
And then it's going to bring back basically the 2 Birds of Paradise. More likely a Birds of Paradise than the voice.
Yeah, it's going to be a voice. I can't imagine it not be a voice here.
Unless he really wants the mana.
Yeah, it's true. Unless he is super set on casting black spells, which probably doesn't have in his deck anymore since he's playing blue.
As for do people really not know what Glen Elendra Archmage does, mostly we provide it just because we have a decent amount of new players in our stream as well.
Also, Glen Elendra Archmage, not a very commonly played card.
Especially not in Modern.
Yeah.
So, this Ravager, currently a 4/4 along with a Dark Confidant as a 2/1 and a 2/2 Wolf token, putting down a lot of pressure. And Peter just swing with the 4/4.
Just instantly block here.
I mean, I would prefer to take it down, especially when you have that Revel Arc.
Yeah.
Go ahead and trade with it. You'll take 1 damage from that, but getting back a Voice of Resurgence and a Birds of Paradise.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, going beyond 1-for-1 trades is exactly what this deck wants. But we're not seeing a trade here.
No, this is... yeah, I would love to have seen a block there. Especially when you don't have... he might be trying to keep up the Archmage for next turn. So he can't get, like, blown up by a removal spell, but... I mean, the longer this game goes and the longer you don't eliminate this Ravager, because I guarantee Peter has another spell, so it's going to flip again. And
Yep. And a Tarmogoyf here is a pretty sizable clock. If you could ask him to get the Tarmogoyf dice out.
could you get the Tarmogoyf dice?
Thank you. All right. And to Max RZ, you are correct. That is correct. Okay. So we have a 4/5 Tarmogoyf along with that 4/4 Ravager, which survived, interestingly enough. And Peter's still at 19, which is pretty amazing with this Dark Confidant.
Yeah.
He's been maintaining a really nice life total.
Yeah.
And he's going to actually be going back up to 20 if he plays a second spell. And the fact that he's fetching this turn means that he very likely is.
I would assume he is.
Okay. So, if...
especially if he's shocking himself.
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
So he'll be going back up to 18 with the flip of this Ravager at the end step. So we have got a tap for 4.
Does he have another Huntmaster?
I would not recommend.
Ooh.
That is a dangerous play to make.
Ooh.
So going up to 18, getting another Wolf token, and, you know, he's actually going to end up losing one of these. So, one of them going to go away, and... I mean, I guess we're gonna have to. Oh no, because he.
No, he casts 2 spells.
Yeah, and he is not legendary.
No, he's not.
I'm so used to him being legendary because there's so much talk about how he should have been legendary.
Oh.
And I rarely ever get to see 2 of them. So having 2 of these out is insanely good.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Going back up to 20, and then if no spells are cast by Nathan, and he's in kind of a dangerous place, all he has is this worship in hand, and he'll probably be playing that.
Yeah.
But that means Peter just needs to pass the turn back to start wiping Nathan's board, start attacking in, and, you know, when you get to flip these Ravagers and these Huntmasters, whenever you like,
himself.
You're able to take down a decent amount of those Birds of Paradise, those Voice of Resurgence.
Oh, he's trying to really get this worship going.
Yep. And more than anything, it keeps those Huntmasters from flipping.
Yep. That's fair.
The only problem at this point is that with this worship out, he is relying on this worship to survive.
Yeah.
He cannot lose the worship at all. And a Maelstrom Pulse, or actually, you know, some number... And again, taking nothing off of that, so now
That's
and
pulse.
that is a pulse off the top.
Also, I think it didn't matter because if Peter attacks with everything, puts him down to 1,
And then he can...
and then he can kill he passes the turn and then kills both of his dudes.
So it looks like going for some of the instant speed and just... Okay, I think he was about to actually use the ability to sack it response. And I like
I think I would have
getting into this, very important, so that your Maelstrom Pulse can't be countered. So, going for that this turn, and now a swing out is just going to kill Nathan. He's not going to have any time between the trigger, so that is just going to be a game 1 win for Peter, unless Nathan has something. But I don't think that he does, based on what we're aware of.
I don't think so either.
So, there is a swing. Jund taking the game 1 win. A really solid game by Jund, and that Dark Confidant was probably my MVP of the game. I dug him into a lot of things, and going for that Maelstrom Pulse on the exact critical turn. I mean, poor Nathan, who he must be thinking that he had that Maelstrom Pulse the whole time, but to just draw it off the top right when it lands is...
Although, I don't think Nathan was going to win that game even if he didn't draw the pulse.
No, it was a dangerous hand to keep right off the bat.
Yeah.
Because of just the lack of a lot of proactive threats. He had the 2 birds, that's nice.
Yeah, that's nice, but I mean...
But against Jund, and without a whole lot of way to follow it up.
Yeah.
Kind of a... Of course, you know, we also are going off the fact that he Inquisitioned away a Voice of Resurgence, which would have been pretty nice. Okay, so, as we're going into Game 2, hello, looks like we've had some people joining us. My name is TJ.
I'm Coleman.
And we are streaming from Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. That is in the Pacific Northwest of the United States. We want to thank everybody who is coming out right now. I know that a lot of you are regulars, but if you are brand new, be sure to hit that follow button. We do the stream 3 times a week. Wednesdays at 7 is Modern, Fridays at 7:30 is Legacy, and Saturdays at 6 is Modern again. These are all Pacific Standard Time. It's about 9:09 here for our time zone. So make the adjustments necessary. Quick note, March 26th. Put it on your calendar because that is a Saturday. But not just any Saturday. Instead of starting at a normal 6 o'clock Modern stream, we will be starting at noon, 6 hours previously, and we are going to be streaming a Grand Prix trial for Albuquerque, the format Modern. So if you're watching this, you're probably interested. We'll be starting at noon and streaming 5 to 6 rounds of Swiss, followed by the top 8. That means that Coleman, who has volunteered to be my co-host for that stream, we are going to be back here for about 8 to 9 hours talking about Modern with you guys. I am very excited, and I'm hopeful that that is what gets us to the 500 viewers.
Yeah, hope so.
And I bet you guys are thinking, why is that important to you, especially if you're new? Good things happen when we get to 500 viewers.
A lot of stuff happens when we get to 500 viewers.
We have got 4 things lined up. And
2 of them are more important than anything else.
One of them is more important than anything else.
No, there's one other thing.
But we're going to have a lot of cool stuff. And if you guys want to help us be a part of that, be sure to show up. So, between rounds or between matches, ask us what the 500 things is. If you are brand new, we will happily tell you it is going to be a lot of fun. You would post a center candle. Don't worry, it will get here in time. You've got about 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, that should be fine.
Yeah, overnight shipping exists. Though that might be a fire hazard. We might want to go with like one of those plugs. We do have some plugs here.
Oh yeah, there's that. We could like a Glade plug or something.
So Logical Glitch has apparently been enough of these streams to know that I call everything generic. So, definitely, and to be honest, we're selfishly hoping that someone sends us a pizza.
Yeah. Would not be sad about a pizza.
Definitely. So, hopefully you guys, that's fair. Foxiferous, I understand if you want to, but
yeah, that's fair. I don't blame you.
I mean, it's probably a fire hazard anyway. We're in a pretty, that would probably heat things up even more.
Yeah.
And you are from Australia. I totally understand. I understand. I just want to say thank you for joining us from that distance, especially with your current time zone.
Yeah.
How's tomorrow look?
Is it better than today?
Okay. What is my favorite kind of pizza? Personally, I'd probably just go with I like the more meat the better.
Yeah, that's fair.
Personally, so I generally go for the meat lovers pizzas, but anything with pepperoni and sausage or just pepperoni.
Hawaiian.
I
love pineapple.
Canadian or the barbecue chicken barbecue?
I don't like barbecue chicken.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
That's fine. That's just one that I occasionally like. We can back away from that.
Yeah, that's fine. Just I will put pineapple on any of my pizza. I love pineapple.
That's reasonable.
Yeah.
So maybe if you guys want to send us a pineapple as well, get us to 500 viewers. We'll add another thing.
If you get us to 500 viewers, I will not gonna promise anything. I'm not gonna promise anything because this is the internet and they never forget. I would not be sad if the pizza had anchovies. Then I get to reenact one of my favorite Futurama bits.
All right, so getting ready for game 2, getting distracted a little bit, but just want to definitely say I know that I always get a little bit sappy on these streams, but it is something that I'm trying very hard to never become a diva, because like that's the big thing, and we rely entirely on the fact that you guys consistently show up and join, and this is a product of your contributions just in that chat more than I guess equally. Let's say equally, because it wouldn't really be there if we weren't streaming. But nonetheless, it is a very important part, and we regard it a very important part, and that's why we put such a huge feature on interacting with you guys.
Yep.
And so I do want to say thank you for being a part of this with us, and I'm very excited to see where it goes.
Yep. In terms of internet memes, you guys are the real MVPs.
If we actually set it up to where you guys could just talk to us, you guys would be the real MP3s. Oh, man. You can't stop what you are, TJ. You know what? Sometimes I'm just a guy who's a little bit over sentimental. And, that's... I'm just going to ship a whole pineapple. Did we do a draft last night? I think so. I imagine so. I wasn't here last night. I was working on homework.
I was probably sleeping about this time last night.
Have we guys done more Modern No Ban List events recently? No, but we are working on scheduling one of those for April. So we should be able to schedule that. I will let people know via our the Twitter, and I will also be telling people a lot on our stream, much like the March 26th Grand Prix trial. So,
slick.
Nathan leading with a Temple Garden into a Birds of Paradise.
Oh, Birds of Paradise got the untap.
And no removal from Peter, who led with a Raging Ravine. So, Nathan going into a Voice of Resurgence and playing
What do you mean you splashed new color? I don't see any splashes.
Seriously. So, a Raging... Well, Birds of Paradise is a splash for everything.
I don't know what you're talking about. What birds?
So the Bolt's going for the bird a turn too late. And we might be seeing... Okay, so a Wooded Foothills from Peter. Has 1 mana open, and I think I might see another Bolt in hand. I'm a little bit surprised they didn't go for that Bolt a bit sooner.
Yeah, maybe. Although Nathan has a very interesting draw in that he's not playing anything on turn 3 either.
Yeah, that is extremely unusual. And just swing with that Voice of Resurgence, very bold. He has a Lightning Helix in hand. So
it's interesting that he brought Lightning Helix.
Yeah, and I think part of that might be to go for things like the Huntmaster, which he has a hard time dealing with.
Or possibly just kill an early Bob.
Exactly. Dark Confidant going to be a very difficult thing for him to remove. And possibly just to buy him some time, because Jund, as a proactive deck, does have a decent clock that it can present.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Sometimes 3 life can be the difference. You want to play Peter with the old anti-rule? I'll let him know.
Yeah.
To someone asking what is happening with the Modern No Ban List, it is a separate format from Modern in which you eliminate the ban list, and you play with that. They don't happen very often, but it's a lot of fun. So, we have got a Fulminator Mage for Peter, which is going to quickly go for the Raging Ravine, it looks like. And I like that. It cuts him off of red because he already has access to both green and white otherwise.
Yep.
And cutting him off of red can restrict a lot of the options, especially keeping low red sources can disable maybe a Kiki Chord that he draws.
It also is going to cut him off green sources.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's very important when you have chords.
Yes, and Nathan playing down this Windswept Heath, he's able to go for a lot of things, but it's going to take some damage to do so. Alright. I don't know. I think Peter might have an insurance policy on his deck.
It's very, very possible.
We've talked about it before. So, another swing for 2 from this Voice of Resurgence. Pretty interesting to see a Voice of Resurgence really taking the role of a beatdown against Jund from Kiki Chord.
Yeah.
It's a very unusual situation, and I'm kind of liking that as a little debut.
Sometimes your Grizzly Bears will beat down your opponent. And if I was Nathan, I would have fired off this Eternal Witness skip back. Just to get the land back.
Maybe Raging Ravine just to keep hitting your land drops?
Yeah.
Alright.
Well, you can crack his fetch and then get the fetch back.
And here is an Inquisition of Kozilek. If there is a... so there is an Eternal Witness. Very likely that's going to be the target.
Sometimes Eternal Witness just has to be Borderland Ranger.
Sometimes, and it's mostly just to get another creature on the battlefield. That way, if your Voice of Resurgence gets taken down, you're still building up a large token from that 1/1.
Yeah, and it also attacks.
It also attacks. It's a 2/1, and I mean, if you're already getting in with a Voice of Resurgence, and a Kolagun's command going for that, and returning the Fulminator Mage.
This is exactly how you attack a greedy mana base.
Yeah, and Jund enacting their game plan almost perfectly right now. So currently a 1/1 token out, and Peter, I mean, this is exactly what he wants to do.
Yeah, definitely. And if I was Nathan, I would not crack this fetch, not until your turn.
Now, how do you feel about Peter firing that off on that turn as opposed to last? I like it because it doesn't give him another token, but it still always feels bad.
Yeah, I like it right there, especially after the Fulminator Mage, because then you get more value.
Yeah, and next turn he can drop down that Fulminator Mage and any other one, possibly 2-mana player that he's got. Going to be really excellent, and, you know, he could even keep it, if needed, to block that voice token if it doesn't look like he'll be able to disable Nathan's mana base very much.
Yeah.
But with him only on 3 lands right now, and
he drew a land. Yeah.
So playing a Stirring Wildwood.
Oh, he's gonna activate the Stirring Wildwood and attack for 2.
I like that play a lot.
Yeah,
if he
nice.
doesn't have a whole lot else to do, while Peter's tapped out, just getting in an extra point of damage can sometimes be the difference between a win and a loss. And while I feel like Peter is definitely taking advantage right now, I like that a lot.
Yeah, you gotta always find the most efficient ways to get more points in.
And here's this Fulminator Mage going for the red source again, and I might have expected that to go for the Stirring Wildwood.
I think going after the red source is fine, especially when you know he has a Lightning Helix in his hand.
That's true. He is fully aware of that. So looks like just a swing for 1.
And then he missed out on the point again, because you can tap Stirring Wildwood to activate itself.
Interesting. Or possibly just because Peter had 1 mana open. Maybe you wanted to be a little bit more protective of it, even though there's not a whole lot of 1 mana removal to take down a 3/4 in green-red.
If he had a bolt, he would have probably bolted the token.
Very likely.
Yep.
So P and Kieran Nalar, a Glenelendra Archmage, and a Lightning Helix. I expect this P and Kieran Nalar to be going away.
Interesting. Yeah.
So going for this, both of them are 2-for-1s.
I think I might have taken actually the Lightning Helix, because he's very far away from casting P and Kieran.
That is a good point, that he's not going to be able to cast that. The Glenelendra Archmage is just possibly concerning because it can take down a lot of those board sweepers and things like that, which will handle the rest of it. But both of them are kind of 2-for-1s, but the Glenelendra Archmage can operate even on the stack. So maybe going for that one, because your sweepers will take care of a P and Kieran.
Especially, like, this is going to be fine for Nathan, since he can basically end up casting the Lightning Helix this turn, because he's going to Ghost Quarter himself.
Okay. Does the voice token look a bit like the co-caster? Kind of.
I'll take it. Hey, if that means I get more voice tokens, I need those.
No kidding. Does he have blue mana? Yes. This is actually a blue splash deck as opposed to the black splash for this Kiki Chord deck.
Yeah.
So, this Scavenging Ooze looks like just going to eat a creature in response, go up to 11.
It's probably going to go up to the Eternal Witness.
Likely. And
it's probably the best way to go.
Nathan going actually back up to 20, which is pretty nice to be back at your starting life total after something like that. And it looks like he actually didn't gain his life?
Well, you can't not gain life.
True. So you might just want to ask him to do a quick price check, or life total check.
Nathan, you gained 3 off the Helix, right?
Okay. Perfect. So they are getting that fixed up. I can understand the need for voice tokens. I have been trying to fill up a token box next to that playmat, and I still don't have voice tokens. Luckily, Nathan brought his own. I recently got Young Pyromancer tokens after trying for about a month. And a Huntmaster coming down, really solid play. And Nathan, now that he doesn't have that Helix, knowing that that's gone, knowing that the only card in his hand is a P and Kieran Nalar that he can't cast currently, but
maybe he draws a land. All he needs to do is draw a land, and he can cast or a fetch land anyway.
Yeah, any red land.
Yep.
And that is a Restoration Angel. And that Restoration Angel right now, no value.
Yeah.
0.
It's a 3/4 with flash. That's pretty good.
All right. So we have got that Ravager flipping, 2 damage to Nathan, and Peter now going to be able to present a pretty quick clock.
Oh wow, Peter drew Fulminator.
That Fulminator Mage going to be extremely good. For more than anything, it keeps away the combat trick, in that Peter can now take care of this during Wildwood, which could have been a blocker for his Ravager of the Fells. And actually getting dangerous, because if he had gone for it pre-combat, he might have been able to, he would have drawn out this cast of the Restoration Angel and been able to play around it a little bit.
Although I think Peter has another spell to cast.
With 2 there, possibly going to flip it back, gain another 2 life, get a token.
Like, if he has an Abrupt Decay, which I think that might be, he could Abrupt Decay targeting the Fulminator and then sack it to the land.
Yeah.
So, I mean, if I was Peter, I would do that in a heartbeat.
He has a Golgari Charm.
Oh!
Yes.
Can also just cast Golgari Charm.
Yeah, and that's... If nothing else, it has a regenerate clause, which is going to be pretty nice. The other big benefit is that destroying an enchantment when Worship was a card that you saw against your opponent. I really like that. So, Nathan, back down to only having double green, not able to take down a red source because it is just the basic mountain on the battlefield. So Nathan's still 1 red source away from having access to P and Kieran Nalaar.
I think I would have liked to have seen him try to flip the Ravager. Because... if Nathan has he won't even be able to cast Worship because he's only on 3 lands.
True, but I think you still have to maybe make those plays around it, and regenerating your 2/2 token to get almost no value except to, the board state is exactly the same except you still have it.
Yeah, I guess. It's a path on the upkeep, I assume.
And I think that might be an Anger of the Gods in Peter's hand as well.
Okay, well then,
maybe
his path, and he's gonna 2-for-1 himself to kill this angel.
And I think what we're going to see
actually,
instead,
you should keep the Golgari Charm in hand since he has a P and Kieran.
Yeah, P and Kieran.
That's a lot better.
I think what we're going to see happen instead is Peter getting really proactive with this Raging Fiend.
Yeah.
If he had... Yep. And so here's the Raging Ravine, getting a +1/+1 counter, swinging for 4, and we've got a pretty solid race happening right now.
Yeah.
Nathan still in trouble. If he gets to that 4th land, and I don't think I saw it there. Is that a...
That's a Wooded Foothills.
Ooh, so a Wooded Foothills, that P and Kieran Nalaar, now an option. If he plays it pre-combat, I'll be... And I think he's going to, because that means that Peter, first of all, gets to take down the Thopter tokens, and also can reduce the damage that he takes from Restoration Angel.
He only has 1 mana available.
Oh, you're right. So he's not going to cast this Golgari Charm. He'll still be taking 3. My apologies.
Yeah.
Forgot to look at the mana base. That is my bad.
That's fine.
So, back up to the triple green. Able to get a chord in, even if it's just a chord for 1 or 2. A chord is a chord.
P and Kieran,
Yeah, I just setting up the triple green for possible draws.
Of course.
And especially now that you have that P and Kieran Nalaar, getting that triple green is very powerful because now you can chord for Kiki Chord.
Yep.
So, we have got a swing for 3, going down to 5 on Peter's side, and Nathan basically a top deck away from the win. I don't want to say that he's in an advantageous position, but he's definitely getting there.
Yeah.
Especially because of the reach of these Thopter tokens will give him. But he is...
if only for Peter not having a Golgari Charm.
Exactly.
I think Peter's going to go for the Anger plus Golgari Charm line.
And that will actually wipe out the entire board.
Yep.
Which is extremely cool, because both of them being at board parity, except for whatever Peter has in hand, is going to be huge.
Yeah, I think Peter has a Goyf.
And if he does have a Goyf in hand, being able to go for a fetch, get him to a 4/4, and he'll be working with probably, I don't want to say a 5/6, there's no enchantment or artifact, so I think a 4/5.
I think so.
Instant sorcery, creature, land, and I think that's all that I have seen as of yet, but still a very impressive board.
It's very interesting, because I think Peter has to shock himself. No, never mind. Okay, he's a basic one.
So it has the basic, going down to 4, and that means that Nathan still needs 2 burn spells to go for the kill. So...
Yeah. I do not know another P and Kieran. I think I know what he drew. Yep, it's a bird. And
unfortunately that bird, I mean, it's not going to be...
Goyf's a 4/5, right?
They'll let us know when it's relevant.
Yeah.
Alright. And there's a 4/5, and swinging with that Raging Ravine as well is going to be a huge amount of pressure.
Yep.
And that's if Peter doesn't have any other threat.
I was going to say, I just assume Peter has a bolt.
Yeah. I mean, but if he has a bolt, he can still activate it and still swing with the bolt and just take the win. So, a block there,
3.
taking 4, going to 3, and here's where we see, and I think he has a Thoughtseize.
Oh, okay. So,
Yeah. I think a Thoughtseize was the draw
Huntmaster
there.
of the Fells would be a good one.
Huntmaster of the Fells would be a good one.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're just going to name cards,
Well, I mean,
a Wrath of God would be excellent for
Boros
Nathan
Charm.
right now.
Boros Charm would be great.
Armageddon for Nathan would be really solid.
Oh, no. Nate's will die.
That's a good point. And draws the bolt, which we are going to see responded to with a
Path your
path. Okay, so game 2, going to Peter. Now we've still got about 20 minutes left in this round, which means that as I'm getting things ready to go back to us in the booth, Coleman I think is going to be the amazing co-host that he always is and try and find us another match, which means that if you have any questions, any comments, any feedback, now is a good time. I'll be answering some questions and talking about some things as we get another match on there. So if you've got anything, just put @GeekFortress into your chat thing. That way it really draws my attention to it. I've now set up my thing, so I'll see you guys in the booth. Hello and thank you for joining me. My name is TJ. Coleman is my fantastic co-host. He is out finding another match, but thank you for joining. If you are brand new, let me know in the chat. I'd love to see if there is anybody brand new. And if you are new, be sure to hit that follow button. We do this stream 3 times a week. It is always a good time. But right now, I'm going to spend a little bit of time talking about what is going to happen when we get to 500 viewers in a single stream. Also to Kiki, hello! But what is going to happen when we get to 500 viewers? Currently, the most important thing is that we have a sealed, revised starter deck, which we will be opening up on the stream. I'm very excited about that. Someone has recommended that we wear some gloves for it. Maybe. Probably. So we do have a revised starter deck. Now, there are 3 other things from various myself and other co-hosts that are also going to happen, because 500 is going to be a big number for us. It is my New Year's resolution to get to 500 in a single thing, so I would love for it to happen. I will be eating a Tybalt in Alfredo sauce. Someone has recommended marinara. I will consider it because it is red. But in the meantime, my game plan is to eat a Tybalt fettuccine Alfredo, and then I'll be posting it, proof of it online in some way. To Shoot to Kill, thank you so much for that compliment. I'm glad that you are learning things here. Terpskadai, my thought is to open it with Cheeto fingers. With Cheeto on my fingers. The other thing, Coleman, my current co-host tonight, has promised that if we get to 500 in a single viewing at one time, he will record himself doing it to an entire song of pre-90s, a dance to it, put it on YouTube. Most likely the winning thing right now is Safety Dance, but we will be doing a vote onto what song he should dance to. And the third one is that Joe, who is my Legacy co-host on Fridays, every other Friday he is my co-host, will be drawing onto a playmat, doing a sketch on it, and then sending it to a random viewer. So we've got all kinds of fun stuff, and I hope that you can all be a part of us for that 500 viewers. I'm very excited. In the meantime, if you want to hit that follow button there, and you also want to follow me on Twitter, I'll let you know when we are streaming. I just try and post other, I don't know, I'm very new to Twitter, so help me improve and let me know when I'm awful at it. I'm trying. The Tybalt is the most important? Possibly. I'll have to eat a Tybalt, and I've accepted that at one point. Luckily, I've got a lot of them, so I'm very excited, and if a new Tybalt comes out, maybe I'll eat that one too, as a side dish. Anyway, I hope that you are all doing well tonight. I know that we have some stormy weather here, so if you are brand new and you notice that our stream might flicker every now and then, I do apologize. One of the things that we try and do is have a pretty high level of quality, and we are continuing looking to improve that quality. And the fact that we are occasionally flickering tonight doesn't really please me. But hopefully you'll just hit that refresh button. We've been coming back, and hopefully we don't lose the power, because we are in the middle of a fairly major storm. To Terror, no, I did not speculate on Tybalts. I'm just a big fan. If you have any, I'm interested. Alright, and what have you got?
I don't know.
Okay, well thanks for joining me, Dylan. To everybody,
Mason versus someone.
Caleb.
Mason versus Caleb.
Mason versus Caleb. Well, to everybody, as I put in this information, what game are they on?
What game you on?
Game 3.
Game 3.
So, Naya Zoo going
you know what that means?
up
They
against
each won one.
It does mean that they each won one. Going up against Caleb, who is on Norin Sisters. To anybody wondering, this is actually Dylan, who is the store owner who lets me set up in his supply closet several times. Basically all the time. So, he's a little bit odd, but if you want to thank him for letting me set up back here, let him know.
Also, how's the sound?
Oh,
I was
yeah.
tinkering with the microphone, hopefully trying to make the microphone and the transition music being the same.
All right, and let's head on down to the match, and then Dylan can say
So-
some things.
Quick trick. It'll be really weird.
Okay, and unfortunately we did not.
Didn't quite work. Sorry.
Dylan left, but he is looking at it. He's watching the Twitch chat up at his counter. So I will pass along. And also, quick note: Fireball 106 or 1026. I don't think I've seen you in our chat before.
Oh yeah. Look at
So
that.
thank you. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining. It's really cool to have you. Same to Whirly25.
What was that about? Backward hat?
I am the epitome of professionalism because nailed it. Nailed the cool factor with
You
the
got
awkward.
your Jace. Got your Jace going on.
Sculpting the chat. Oh man, I'm
I'll
awful.
take Ken Griffey Jr. wannabe, Dylan.
Don't worry, I won't impersonate Jace very often. Don't unfollow just because of that. So what was the Kiki Jund result? We saw Jund take the win. So, game 3 here between Norin Sisters versus Zoo. I'm going to give the win to Norin Sisters, personally. Unless Zoo has got some board sweepers, which would be unusual.
Well, Mason is playing Bonfire. So,
That's true.
Bonfire's really good against a bunch of X1s.
That's true. Mason, he does have an X Factor in Bonfire of the Damned in his deck, and that is going to be pretty much the biggest possible card against Caleb. Other than that, using his mana really efficiently on anything that gains life, and applying a lot of pressure. Okay.
Everyone's a Ken Griffey Jr. wannabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to dispute it, but
No.
that's pretty
No.
true.
Yeah.
Alright. Also to Flames of Zalith. Hopefully I pronounced that right. It was a little bit of an odd last word, but to you as well, thank you for joining. I'm not sure if I've seen you before, and I hope that you are enjoying the show. And to everybody who's new and everyone who's been here before, I genuinely hope that you guys are enjoying the show. I get sometimes pretty nervous about it. So what's a 15-second of what Norin Sisters is? Let me tell you. It operates pretty similar to a Soul Sisters deck in which you have 8 cards that each are 1 mana, 1/1s that whenever a creature enters the battlefield, you gain 1 life.
Yep.
Norin the Wary is a creature that will be leaving and entering almost constantly, and I will bring him up for you now. Now, this is a life gain deck that works on almost a combo aggro situation, so it'll be a lot of life gain triggers and creatures that benefit from that gaining of life. Johnny's Pridemate, which gets a +1/+1 counter anytime that you gain. Yes! That is delightful. And so using those life gain things along with Genesis Chamber, which is an enter the battlefield ability, so using a lot of creature ETB abilities like Perforos, Genesis Chamber, things like that, as well as life gain triggers.
He's playing with these cards with authority.
Yep. And there is a Soul's Attendant from Caleb, which is one of those Soul Sisters. So it gains a life anytime a creature enters the battlefield. Caleb possibly missing a trigger right now off of that Wild Nikadal.
Yep.
He is, I'm going to take a quick note, he's going to be watching this later. He is new to this deck, so we will be a little bit, we'll be generous.
Yeah.
So we have got a second Soul Warden coming out, gaining a life off of that trigger up to 21 now.
Yep.
Ed Mason,
Trying to keep you honest on the life totals.
yeah, very much. So, taking, and just a swing for, looks like actually just 2.
Yep.
That Wild Nikadal only a 2/2,
Don't see Wild
unfortunately.
Nikadal off basics.
No, it's unfortunate. And I see a Path in hand, and he should be firing these off at one of these Soul Sisters. Maybe waiting until he plays a creature. But
Yeah.
I am going to be wanting to take down one of those sisters pretty quickly.
I don't know. I actually...
Unless you see a payoff card, maybe?
Yeah, unless you see like a Johnny's Pridemate. Especially from this board set, I'd want to save them for Pridemate.
That's a good point.
Or something like that. I realize you can't go after Norin, but I mean...
Mostly, if he starts playing some spells here, I'm going to be pretty...
Something like that.
And a Champion of the
That's
Parish.
something that I would go after.
You're probably right to go for that one at the end step and
Okay.
let him invest his mana, because that becomes a very large threat very quickly. Norin the Wary has now entered into the battlefield. And that is now up to a 2/2. When he leaves, he'll be coming back. We're going to be getting a lot of triggers on there. Sorry to crit hit 20. Also, again, fantastic name. But hopefully we did give a nice quick rundown on it.
Oh, Mason is a very, very odd draw.
Also,
He doesn't have any red
to
sources.
Worley 25, thank you very much for the compliment. We genuinely try to put out a good product and always improve it. And hopefully we're doing a decent job. I don't know. I'm pretty proud of what we have done.
Oh,
with
yeah, I am
Solo,
too.
to be honest. Okay, so we have got 2 Wild Nakados facing down. Mason having some trouble with mana.
Yeah.
Seems to be... looks like a Flinthoof Boar in hand, as well as a Knight of the Reliquary.
He still has the path. I believe he has a deflecting palm.
And it looks like might be passing the turn to Caleb.
Yep. Well, you don't want to attack because that means you don't want to run away.
That's true, but wouldn't you... I mean, using the path is going to do the same thing, so maybe waiting until Caleb triggers the Norin himself with it, and then using that path then.
That's when I would do it.
To Nerd Nuss Flips, thank you for joining. I also don't think that I've seen you in our chat before, so I hope that you are enjoying the show.
Yep.
So, Norin going away, that bolt pointed at one of these Wild Nakados, which is currently just a 2/2.
He might be trying to path his own. Okay.
No.
Good. Okay.
I was thinking possibly even trying to path the Norin, which I would hope doesn't happen.
Yeah, I would not recommend trying to path a Norin. It's very much a standstill sort of thing.
Yes, and so taking down
Pro
that
tip, guys, don't try to stifle a standstill trigger. It's not going to end well for you.
Also, don't stifle the trigger of a Dark Depths. It's not going to work. It's just a state-based check.
Yeah.
So, Rap Game Audio, thank you so much. Same to SCG Viewpoint. I'm going to assume that you mean kind of behind the big ones, the Star City and the Mad, and, all the stuff. But thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And also to Cookie, if we ever travel internationally, let us know. I'm not sure if I'm planning to right now, but I'd love to meet people. It's really cool to meet, and I've had the opportunity to meet some of the people who have seen the stream.
Oh yeah,
and it has been incredible.
Yeah,
it's completely surreal for people to recognize you without you recognizing them.
Yeah,
it's something that I'm
weird.
Not used to. So a swing for 3 with this Wild Nakado. It's a build your own Nakado with this Kuzali Pride Mage.
By attacking with Wild Nakado. Yep.
And the creature entering the battlefield gained him 2 life, and then choosing to just take 3.
I think we're going to need more D20s.
Yeah, going down to 28 because of this Norin re-entering the battlefield. Caleb getting a ton of life gain triggers, and it's becoming increasingly difficult for Mason to get past this.
Yep. Attacks with Norin runs away. He's scared of combat, guys. He's a pacifist.
He is a pacifist. And that Norin, again, coming back in because he attacked with the Norin, which exiles himself. Which is
we're starting to get some traction, though. Mason found a red source.
Mason finding a red source is going to be able to attack for 4, but again, that's not doing a whole lot. And he has, I think, did I see a deflecting palm?
Yep.
So maybe just to go for a really large, like that Champion of the Parish or a Johnny's Pride Mate, something like that.
Something.
Yeah.
Although, Mason does have the bonfire. Also, he has Torpor Orb.
In Mason's sideboard?
Yeah.
What an interesting sideboard choice.
But it's going to be very, very good here.
It will be very good. It's just unusual to see that in a zoo deck. But
Yeah,
I like it. And especially in our meta with the amount of Kiki Chord, which has been around recently, with its highest numbers being around 3, which was actually the highest deck density that we've had in a long time. For those of you who are just joining, one of my favorite things about this meta, and hopefully one of yours, is the versatility of decks or the variety, I'm sorry, wrong word there.
Oh, most of these decks are versatile.
That's true, but the variety of decks that we get on stream, we have a lot that are fairly consistent, but we try to get a lot of cool stuff on there and show a variety of matchups, because we do have a fairly diverse metagame, and I like it. So.
Alright, so Caleb drew 32.
Going up to 32 with that Flinthoof Boar entering, giving it haste, and that is a swing for 6, which...
Looks like a swing for 8, because he's also attacking with the Pride Mate.
Oh, you're right. So going down to 24, and that's really the problem right now, is that with a lot of these things gone,
he'll go to 24.
Caleb can't apply a lot of pressure right now.
Ranger Vios? That'd be a great card.
Yeah, Ranger Vios is very good, especially with 6 mana up right now. This.
Gains 2, Norin runs away.
Alright, so let's go ahead and get the Ranger of Eos up there. And what it is, it's a 3-2 for 4 that when it comes into play, you search your library for two
Champion.
1-drops. Champion would be extremely good.
If he has Sarah's Ascendant would be a great one.
I don't believe that he runs Sarah Ascendant.
Yeah.
But Champion, or if he just wants to go for another sister, play that one out. But double champion, one of them is going to be a 1-1, one of them is going to be a 2-2.
And then
they're going to be a
2-2 and 3-3.
2-2 and 3-3. And let's go ahead and bring up that Champion of the Parish because it's not a particularly common card. Plus, it plays into our theme of we're going back to Innistrad.
Yeah.
So Champion of the Parish, main part of the Hat tribal deck, 1-1 for 1, but whenever another human enters the battlefield, you put a +1/+1 counter on it. Fun fact, a lot of people in a lot of those cards are humans.
Yep, including Norin.
Okay.
Because that card needed to get better.
To Cookie, yes, we actually have been avoiding Eldrazi, by the way.
I don't think there are actually any Eldrazi lists here tonight.
No? Did Bryce
Bryce
finally
is
jump
on
ship?
blue-white-red control.
Ooh, so finally jumping ship.
Mm-hmm.
And going all the way up to an absurd life total.
I love this deck so much. I've had most of my favorite games of Abs in Company have been against Soul Sisters.
Mostly I enjoy playing Affinity against them because I have access to Infect, so it's decent. To Altered State of Confusion. Again, very cool username. I don't think that we have any Loam players here tonight.
Yeah, unfortunately.
I'm going to try and get someone who played Rug Loam previously, a long time ago, Nick, if you remember him,
Yeah, I remember him.
to start coming and playing again because he had a very cool deck and was very skilled with that deck.
Yeah.
And I'd like to see that come back. It is Rug as opposed to the Jund version, but Loam is Loam, and I'm hoping that the prevalence of that Dredge deck that did well recently, I'm hoping that someone builds that because that was a very cool deck. So, we have
I
got
forgot to trigger on Norin. There it is. Okay.
Yeah. So, Caleb taking 4, going down to 30, and then going, I mean,
You know,
what do you do against
as
this?
you do.
And then gaining another 2 life when this Norin re-enters the battlefield, and those Champion of the Parishes up to a 4-4 and a 3-3. So, attacking with that Wild Nikado, mostly because everything else would end up dying in combat, which is absurd.
Yep, and he's not going to be able to really attack with it anymore.
And Mason keeping up that deflecting pump, but I don't think that that's going to do enough because Caleb will always have a higher life total than Mason. And I don't want to say always because something can happen. But as the current board
It
state
is a
sits,
very, very high probability.
for every 1 counter that goes on that Champion of the Parish, which is 1 damage that would be redirected, Caleb is gaining 2 life.
Yep.
And that the math just doesn't check out. When you're dealing 4, but then they gain...
Norin runs away.
So, when they're gaining 4 life for every... or gaining really 6 life for every 4 that everything is equalizing right now, and that's only if no other creatures enter.
I really like this double block from Mason. None of your creatures are ever attacking. You need to get one of his off the board.
Alright. So, a pretty aggressive block, and like you said, I enjoy this block.
Yeah, I really like the block.
Because the longer that these Champion of the Parishes stay, I mean, even if we had seen Caleb wait 1 turn before attacking, that could not have happened.
Yeah.
Or at least could not have happened nearly as profitably.
Yeah, that's why I think I would have just tried to attack with Norin, and then Norin would have ran away.
Yeah.
And then you have guys on blocking duty, since you're going to win this game if it goes long.
Yeah, a little bit of an ambitious one. And with Mason only on 3 lands, even if, one of his wins was with that bonfire is not going to do enough because that Norin is going to go away. And right now, both of your Champion of the Parishes are going to survive anything that Mason can dish.
Yep.
Which means that you're still going to be playing out massive creatures.
Yep.
Norin is going to keep coming back, and you're going to keep having giant Champions of the Parish. And despite everything else, Mason will need an answer for that.
Yeah.
Okay. Why did Caleb attack there?
I would assume he thought that his attacks were better than they turned out to be.
Yeah, I think that you are correct. So, looks like Mason passing this turn back. He does have a Kessig Wolf run, which means that eventually he can get some kind of trample going if he can get a large enough creature.
And it's a Soul's Attendant.
And that Soul's Attendant going to be very, very good. And the small amount of parity that Mason had
gets 2 life also.
Yep.
If he remembers it.
Looks like he's going to miss that one, but he is probably not going to miss the 3 triggers there. Yep. So, running out of those D6s, unfortunately, we might have to get him some more dice. And, okay, so it looks like he did get his 2. He just didn't have the dice to actually...
Oh, okay.
And at 36, apparently. I'm not quite sure.
Should have gained 5 life from last turn.
Yeah, so possibly
Yeah,
we
okay.
missed something.
Yeah, he's at 37.
Okay.
No, they missed something. It wasn't us. They're the ones at fault here.
All right. So we have got 2 flint hoof boars on the
Caleb should
battlefield.
gain 3 life from the flint hoof boar and then 3 life from this.
Yes, but again,
I
I'm not
think you
sure.
missed it. Yep.
And like we said at the beginning of this, unfortunately, Caleb is new to this deck, and he does watch these streams afterwards.
Yeah.
So we try to be very positive in this, and this is
Legion
part of a learning process, and he's doing a pretty solid job of remembering most of his triggers, and this is just something that's going to happen over time.
It's
A deck with this many triggers is pretty difficult to maintain.
yeah.
Another ambitious swing.
Yeah,
here.
this is a bold attack.
I mean, if I'm Mason, I'm just triple blocking that Champion
Yeah,
of the Parish.
easily.
And even not swing with the Legion Loyalist. I mean, I like that, but the Champion... I'm sorry, I meant to say the Champion of the Parish,
You
but I
should
looked
have
at it.
you should have definitely attacked the Legion Loyalist if you were going to attack like this.
To give them first strike.
Yep.
Exactly. But that Ranger of Eos, just a 3-2, kind of getting thrown to the slaughter. And Mason taking this opportunity to deal 7 damage here. And, okay. Looks like, I'm going to guess that that's Josh. Josh always being a fantastic.
Yeah, that's really good.
And looks like going to redirect 7 of that damage, offer a trade there, and then going down to 36 after that, which is, so, definitely the Legion Loyalist swing would have changed that entirely. He would have lost the Legion Loyalist, but put in a massive amount of damage, doing 10 unless Mason wants to lose his battlefield board.
Yeah.
So that would have been a pretty impressive board state there. And this Norin coming back in, that Champion of the Parish going up to being an 8-8, which, now that there's just a Flint Hoof Boar and a Wild Nicodle, is significantly better.
Yeah, definitely.
And I can't tell what that is, but I'm going to guess it's 39.
Yep. Looks like 39.
And they are on turn 1. So they moved over, that was turn 0, and that could explain why we're seeing some aggressive attacks.
That would make sense, yep.
So time becoming an issue. Oh, yes, let me show you the red card. Sorry. That is Legion Loyalist. So these players now on turns. And playing out a Knight of the Reliquary, which is mostly just going to do a nice job of blocking. It's only I think a 2/2 as it currently sits.
There's at least 1 card in the graveyard.
Yeah, so okay, it's just I'm sorry, I meant 2 pluses. Is Mox Opal necessary for Lantern Control? Yes,
Probably, yeah. You could actually play Simeon Spirit Guide,
but it's worse.
but yeah,
But it's doable. But the budget options are not any more of a budget.
not really.
So, at its fullest potential, could you build Lantern Control without Mox Opal? Yes,
Probably.
but it will be significantly worse. That doesn't mean that it won't be functional. You can play the deck.
I mean,
I'm a big advocate
Snaring
for
Bridge is still a card.
Ensnaring Bridge is still a card. So, Caleb.
8.
I mean, if anybody's going to win this match, it's going to be Caleb. But I think that this is going to be a draw.
Yeah, I think so too.
I think we are trapped into a draw at this point. With Mason, looks like taking.
I think he's fetching.
Okay, that threw me off for a moment. I didn't even see the fetch. So,
9.
while we're getting ready, we're not going to have a whole lot of time between rounds, but to toss out a quick thing, looks like some new people. I hope that if you are new, you're hitting that follow button. We certainly do enjoy it, especially because it sends an email for each individual one to the store owner,
Yep.
and I like to bother them that way.
Yeah, it's fun to bother him.
It's so much fun. I'm going to sneeze. Never mind, I might not. Yep, I am.
But yeah, there's just triple block. Triple block. Just block
Yep.
with everything.
Because no pressure can be applied by anything else that Caleb has. So you just get rid of that. You've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That means that that's going to die, and it can't deal enough to kill them all back. Alright. For Star City Game States, you can't decide between Blue Moon, Storm, taking turns. Heart says Storm and Blue Moon, but I mean the right answer is probably Blue Moon, but the better answer is probably taking turns.
I always advocate for taking turns.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the goal of the entire tournament is to take as many turns, right?
Yeah, exactly. So, and you get to take enough turns for the people who made it all the way to the finals just in your first round.
It would. I don't think it'd be Wooded Bastion. It'd be Well, I mean, he could just have Fireball right now. He is playing red.
I mean, technically, yes.
Yeah.
That doesn't make it likely, but it
No,
makes it
not at all.
possible. All right.
Storm just updated the Grand Prix.
Yeah, Storm did decent,
So-
but to be fair, you have to be pretty adept with that deck.
Yeah. Also, the Gift Storm is very odd.
The Gift Storm is so cool. I love Gifts and Storm.
Gift Storm is taking advantage. I also play Storm. Sorry, if you guys don't know.
Yeah.
Gift Storm is very reliant on having Electromancer in play.
Mm-hmm.
Where if you want maybe more consistent and maybe a little bit more powerful, I would play the Pyromancer Ascension builds.
All right, so up to 54 for Caleb, who is dropping down the
There's
Genesis,
the Genesis
Chamber.
Chamber.
And,
It's only
we're
about
on
3
turn
turns
4.
late.
Unfortunately, this game is going to end in a draw.
Yep.
So, looks like we'll be heading into round 4 pretty quickly, actually. I'm going to find out what the finals are, since we should be able to get the finals.
Yeah.
Let's see. So it's going to be the final round, and so let me know, quickly. Do you guys want the finals, which will be Naya Burn versus American Control, or do you want something that is maybe a little bit more unique? Okay, let us know. Though, honestly, I think that Mason hasn't scooped one.
Because Mason doesn't scoop.
He does scoop occasionally, but I think it's because since it's going to end in a draw, it gives him a little bit of options. But more than anything, my guess would be the initial reason not to is because he gets to be on camera right now.
Yeah, that's fair. Don't blame him.
It is a very real factor. Okay, so
Storm's also good when all of the Eldrazi matchups are moving away from Chalice of the Void.
So we will be getting the finals. I just let Dylan know, and we are going to be seeing the burn deck. I'm going to guess maybe Bryce, possibly the other burn deck that we saw. I think there's just 2 burn, maybe Josh.
I think it's Josh.
And then beyond that, then there will be American Control in the hands of Bryce.
Ooh, it's going to be fun.
I expect. So, let's go ahead and bring it back to us while we find out those things. I was not really prepared to switch there. My apologies. And it looks like those... Alright, so if they're sitting down, could you ask them to hold off for just a moment while we do a quick introduction? Alright, so we will see... Okay, so we'll see you guys in the booth. Thank you for joining us. My name is TJ.
I'm Coleman.
And it has been a fantastic night hanging out with you guys. Looks like the storm is being kind to us and not completely killing everything that we were hoping to do.
Unlike Magic Storm.
Unlike Magic Storm. But we are going to be getting the finals match, which is going to be American Control versus the finals in round 4, which is just coming up. On the bright side, what we are going to be seeing is that if that goes quickly, we can get some other matches up here. Now, remember, if you are new to this stream or if you are a regular, I want to give you out a quick reminder. At the end of this stream, we would like to stick around afterwards and just start talking to you guys and have fun and answer questions and just do all kinds of fun things. I look forward to it every single time, and I hope that you guys do too. Certainly if it's something that people don't like, we can stop, but so far people seem to enjoy it.
Yep.
And I hope to see you all hanging out afterwards. So, going into the finals, it's going to be a blast. Go ahead and take that double check, especially so we can know who's on what side.
I'll tell you guys when to go. I'll
All
tell you
right.
guys when to start. Is that cool?
So we
Don't
have
start yet. Yeah.
And who it going up against? Is this Bryce versus Eric?
Bryce versus Eric.
So this is
No,
actually...
it's Bryce versus Josh.
Oh, it is Bryce versus Josh.
Yeah.
So Josh currently undefeated with Burn. This is the finals, going up against Bryce, who is on Naya or Jeskai Control.
Yep.
So it should be a pretty interesting matchup, and it's only Jeskai and So here is my. Unfortunately, I have been trying to adopt the new ones just because I do think that, in general, it is better, and especially because
You guys heard it here first. TJ's un-American.
honestly, a decent amount of it is the fact that the people watching this are more than just American, and we have a fairly diverse group, and
Oh, I
I'd much
know, it's
rather
just-
call it by the proper name.
It's just fun.
Yeah,
It's just fun.
I agree. Do I think that Norin is going to get banned? I do not. So, thank you for joining. If you haven't yet, hit that follow button. Follow me on Twitter. I'll let you know when I'm streaming and try to be moderately entertaining. I'm still working on it. I think I'm a funny guy in real life, but as far as Twitter goes, I'm still very new to it. How have I been doing?
Pretty good. I'm
Okay.
not on Twitter a whole lot either.
That's fair. So, we will see you guys down at the table. It's the finals match. Burn versus Jeskai Control, which is basically a glorified burn deck. And I know you guys are going to disagree with me, but I'm talking about the win condition. It wins by being a glorified burn deck. So, let's see it happen. Who gets your edge?
I think probably Naya burn.
I have to give it to burn as well. The Skullcrack effects are going to be very important. It depends on how many Josh has in the main board, but also just the counter spells aren't super effective. So, let's head on down. Have some fun. I know you guys can't tell, but I have a ton of buttons to push right in the middle of that transition. I just push so many buttons.
Yeah,
It's
you guys
excellent.
have no idea.
All right, so it's Sean McLaren's deck anyway. Love it.
Yep.
All right, so both players about to begin, and we have got. Oh, you could probably tell them. Yeah, they're.
You guys are good to go.
All right. So we have got a turn 1 Hollowed Fountain for Bryce, just tapped, and Josh shocking in a Sacred Foundry, following up with a Grim Lavamancer. Bryce is probably going to be trying to remove that pretty early on.
Yeah, I would imagine if he doesn't remove this, Lavamancer is going to represent a lot of damage.
Yeah. Especially because it's able to recycle any of the things that get countered.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like Bryce holding on. He's got a mana leak, and that's going to be excellent against this. He's probably going to try and drop this Idol in the Great Revel as soon as possible. And that is going to be exactly what he wants to use.
Get in there. Get in there, Grim Lavamancer.
Also, I love Grim Lavamancer's swinging.
Yeah.
It is a fantastically wise... I mean, people always forget that it even has that possibility.
Yeah.
And there's the mana leak on that Eidolon, so that's getting countered. Bryce at 19, Josh at 15. The burn tech actually behind in life totals. Alright. So, we have got a third land for Bryce. Again, has an Electrolyze, maybe just...
He also has a lightning hooks in his hand. Which...
and actually has another Eidolon. Looks like going to fetch right now, and might be pointing that, I imagine the Electrolyze at the Eidolon allows him to draw a card. It is going to put him down to 15, putting both players at the same life total, but all things considered, I think that it's a decent trade because, once again, you're preventing that card from dealing 3 damage.
Yeah.
And that is what you want to do against the creatures of Burn. Okay. And actually going for...
Let's go for the Lavamancer and then 1-2.
Going 1-1 there, which is that's a very surprising play to me. But it looks like he did that actually in response.
Yeah.
So, never mind. Not surprising.
Yeah.
And we have a Ghost Quarter. Now we're likely going to see this Eidolon. I think Bryce is just letting Josh deal a little bit of damage to himself before he removes it.
Exactly where I would go with this, especially since he has a Snapcaster.
Alright, so going down to 10, and now we are about to see...
looks like Ambush Viper.
Nope. Yeah, going to Helix it, netting 1 life, going up to 18, and then taking 2. So going down to 16, but with Josh at 10, I mean, this is a perfect game 1 for Jeskai Control right now. Alright, so we have got a Hollowed Fountain.
Yep, looks like if I was Bryce, I would snap Helix on my turn. That way you don't get taken out by the Tarkus command.
That, as well as he actually probably wants to use this Ghost Quarter on that Stomping Ground as soon as possible.
Definitely.
Mana, not a huge thing. He's got his triple blue up, and being able to take off that green source, which is going to represent an Atarka's command, which is going to be a huge amount of damage.
Yeah.
And anything else is going to be a very, very powerful play. Alright. Also, we are almost at 1,000 followers. We are just shy of 25, just over 20 away. If you are one of 20 people who has not hit follow yet, please do. If we hit 1,000, I might flip out. So, a Snapcaster Mage from Bryce, taking down one of those Swift Spears, and actually looks like going to do the Helix again.
It's a good
Take
one.
it down again.
It's 17.
I agree. So,
Bryce, you're at 17, right?
all right, and we should be seeing that life total updated pretty
Helix
sure.
gains 3 life.
You took 2 Swiss Spears?
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Oh, that Helix.
Yeah, the Helix that you just cast.
okay, so they are catching up.
Yeah. Thank you.
Rift Bolt doesn't trigger prowess except
Not
when
when
it
you
resolves.
suspend it.
Suspending it does not. The trigger itself does.
Yes.
So, now Josh with 2 Boros Charms in hand and a little bit of land, but in such a dangerous position. It's surprising to see a burn deck kind of in a position of being worried about a bolt.
Yeah.
and going for a main phase Boros Charm to avoid any kind of counter spells. The main hope right now that you can put Bryce possibly down to 10 next turn, that with that Rift Bolt.
It's
and
a Wandering Fumarole.
That's a pretty interesting choice.
Josh is dead next turn.
Josh is dead at next turn, but he's got an Atarka's Command and a Boros Charm. Unfortunately, not quite enough, because if he draws the land that he wants, he can only put him down to...
I mean, you kill the Snapcaster, it doesn't matter, you're still dead.
Yep.
Because the Fumarole, I think it's a Fumarole.
Unless he draws into a burn spell that can just keep it as a 1/4.
Yeah.
So Bryce might be overly cautious with this at the current time.
I don't know. I think I would just try to kill him.
I mean, that's usually the better plan.
Yeah.
And I think we're about to see and a Cryptic
Cryptic's a good
Command.
one. That'd be a reason not to attack.
Yes. And just going to draw a card. And Josh not getting to resolve
Goblin
that
Guide.
one. So the Goblin Guide going to be decent. Might almost just play this as a blocker more than anything else.
It's possible.
Because it's going to buy him time. And that means that he can now pass the turn. But looks like going for it, revealing a Steam Vents.
I don't think he realizes that the Fumarole can kill him.
I think that you are correct, and right now, Josh is dead on board with no
6
actual
total.
cards to answer it.
Mhm.
So, looks like going for the Atarka's Command, putting him down to 7, and that Ghost Quarter going, and that's actually untapped.
Yeah. Mountains untapped.
Alright. And, interestingly enough, Bryce may have just not taken the win there, because he had the opportunity, if he's forgetting with his Fumarole as well, because if he activates this, he might get cautious about activate. He's probably going to go for it.
No,
Okay, and Josh picking up his cards. But if he had gotten a little bit cautious about that because he had an open mana, that would have been a dangerous place to be and could have given Josh one turn. I don't think it would have been enough to give him the win, but I'm not sure why he used that.
If Josh had a bolt, I mean, he had another Darkus Command. All he needs to do is draw one burn spell, and Bryce was dead.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is that I just didn't quite understand the choice to Ghost Quarter there. When your opponent is tapped out and you have the win, it just doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, you know, some of your spells you don't need to actually cast them in the game.
Yeah. So, nonetheless, looks like we are going to be seeing a game 2 with Josh taking a game 1 loss, so he will be on the play, and that is an excellent place to be. Again, just want to toss out a thank you to all the people who are joining us. You guys are incredible, and actually, you guys, I think almost 10 of you hit follow up. First of all, thank you. I mean, that means that we're still, I might have been a little bit over ambitious saying it was only 20, but the fact is we're now over 980 followers, which is incredible.
Yeah, that's just patently absurd.
This is beyond anything that we ever even fathomed as a possibility when this began. I've said it before, and I apologize to the people who have heard this before, but this started off as a concept to provide watching the Modern stream for the 5 to 10 people who couldn't make it that night, who were from the store.
Yeah.
That was it. That was the concept. And I said, yes, I can talk to the people who I already know. And so it started off with us mostly just like hanging out, not doing nearly as good of commentary, because it was mostly people that we knew and an occasional other people. Doro remembers. Doro, were we not awful? A bunch of other people were there as well, and we were just hanging out. And it has evolved into something that is... I am very proud of where this is going.
I am too.
I mean, people ask me what I do, and I'm like, well, I get paid for this, but I do a stream. I get paid for one thing, but let me tell you about this stream that I'm a part of right now. Because
I'm a professional turtler. That's what I always say.
So, all right. Any chance of doing a standard stream weekly? I will say there is a chance. I don't want to say no. As it currently sits, my schedule doesn't really allow for it. I'm currently doing a decent amount of school, working full-time, and, you know, also doing about 16 hours of streaming a week.
Yeah.
And I would like it... I'm open to eventually doing standard. The problem is that we would be competing with everyone who does standard and limited, which is pretty much every other Twitch streamer except for us. So, maybe. I don't want to write it off, but it would take a little bit of research and preparation and making sure that we do actually have an audience for that standard stream. When we tried it previously, we just didn't. So, maybe. Maybe. I want to say maybe. I'm sorry that that's such a vague and unhelpful answer. So, a turn 1 Goblin Guide from Josh here, off of a basic mountain, putting Bryce down to 18, and unfortunately I did not see...
It was a Cryptic.
Okay, so draws into a Cryptic.
But I know Bryce's hand is actually Batterskull, Rev, and Timely.
all 3 good cards.
Yeah.
And if
Fun.
Josh, the nice part is that it is a handful of things that will not be super effective if Josh is able to land in a Tarkus Command or a Skullcrack. And it doesn't look like he has those in hand right now. And if I'm Bryce, I'm firing off this Helix right now.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Mm-hmm.
Like, probably kill the Goblin Guide.
Okay. So, to Nerd Nose Flaps, I'm not quite sure. Oh, the purple base cap. Oh, because it shows up as purple because of the background. Interesting. All right. So the biggest reason why we would start doing standard is because there is so many people doing standard that it would mostly be trying to find people interested in watching us stream standard more than other people, because standard, everyone's doing it. So we have got that
Should not be at 9.
I'm really thrown off by going down to 9 there, and I think he's at 17 and it just got bumped.
Bryce, you're at 17, not 9, right?
Okay. Wow. I was like, Josh is. When did Fire Blast all of a sudden get modern legal?
Wow.
All right.
When did Fire Blast for free become modern legal?
So we have got a swing for 2 and as well as a Boros Charm. So it ends up being a pretty nice swing with Bryce going down to 10. Which isn't a bad place to be, but the fact that he is about to main phase the timely reinforcements, gaining 6 life and getting 3/1/1s, this is going to be a very quick win. Jeskai Control likely going to be taking our finals.
Yep.
The bright side is that we have got so much time left that as we watch Jeskai Control take this one, for the people rooting for Jeskai Control, you're in a good spot right now.
Yeah, it's very good for you.
And that means that we are also going to get other matches on stream.
Yep. I will try to not put Lantern on, because I don't think anyone likes Lantern.
No, we probably won't put Lantern on, unfortunately. We've done it occasionally, and it's something that I am theoretically open to, but unfortunately it is just a mind-numbingly boring deck to watch. And this is coming from someone who plays it and enjoys the fact that the deck exists.
Yeah, I think it's really cool.
Alright, so Bryce, currently 3 lands.
I will not put a shoe on my head. Sorry, guys.
I'll do it to him one day when he's not sure. I'll surprise him one day. I'm gonna get a shoe horde back here. So
actually, if we get to 750 before we get to 500, I'll put a shoe on my head.
Done.
There we go.
Spotted Tail on the bright side, you won't have to watch Eldrazi either. So I'm very much expecting him to double block here.
I would block with everything.
I mean,
he just shocked himself for the
green source.
The green
so
source.
probably has the Atarkus command.
Yeah.
Go for the full double block and make sure that you're getting a trade and maybe taking 3 damage. I like that a lot. And you've already gained 6 life. Why do you need to save those?
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Let's see here.
Honestly, if I was Bryce, I would just say, sure, I'll take 3. Your guy dies.
I think more likely that is exactly what I would go for. So the Atarkus command happening, and he seems to be going for a fetch. Maybe
Is he going to Cryptic Command this?
It looks like he's going to Cryptic Command.
I don't know if I'd do this. You're basically Cryptic Commanding Lava Spike.
More or less, you are correct. Okay.
I actually tried to add something in the chat, or the MTG bot commands about that. So I think if you type
we're looking at
exclamation points 500, there's something about that.
Yeah, I remember. I was able to watch you actually entering it.
Oh, huh.
It was pretty fun.
Yeah.
So, a swing, putting him down to 9 after the Hatarka's command.
He tried to go for the Lightning Helix to save all his guys.
Yep. And I think that was just not the correct play. So, Josh now down to 13 after that swing, because we saw a Snapcaster as well. But going down to 9 seems a little bit... Do you think he's at 17 again?
No, because...
he got Skullcracked. That's it. The Skullcrack just isn't right there. Okay, I was looking at the Atarkus command, and I got distracted by the chat.
Yeah, Helix, I believe, is exiled. It's underneath all of his graveyard.
And this Batterskull coming down, and that's pretty much going to close the book.
I think Josh has Destructive Reverie in his hand.
Which is a pretty interesting thing to bring in. Alright, and yes, apparently We do say that. Right now we're looking at trying to get a top 8 chart for our Grand Prix trial. An overlay that'll provide a top 8 chart. Is something that we're hoping to get. I can't promise it, but that's on our to-do
It
list.
goes to 6.
So, Bryce down to 6, and I mean, I don't want to say that it's impossible for Josh to win, because it is. He's at, but the fact that Bryce has got 1 mana up.
It's a rivalry.
But oddly enough, a revelry, not quite
4.
enough. And a Grim Lavamancer.
Okay.
So, if he draws well, Josh is in top deck mode.
Yep.
And if he draws well...
Oh, that negate's going to be great.
So, I think the Sphinx's Revelation will be better.
Yeah, me too. But or just kill you. That's also good.
Alright. Also, a quick note to Bearable. I don't think that I've seen you in our stream before or in our chat, and I just want to say a big welcome to you. Thank you for joining us, and I hope that you are genuinely enjoying the show. We like it a lot, but we are always looking to improve. So if you guys ever do have anything, just let us know, and we will do our best. So, looks like Jeskai controlled taking the win here in the finals, but that doesn't mean that it's the end of the magic. Stick around, because that means that Coleman and I are going to be hanging out, talking to you guys, and we're actually going to try and get another match up here. So, Coleman, could you do me the service, and I'll see you guys back in the booth. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining, and thank you to Bearable and Jazzy Horde. By the way, Jazzy Horde is a fantastic name. That is super cool. So, any ad nauseum? Unfortunately, no ad nauseum in the store. I am trying to convince some people to build it, so hopefully we can see that in some time. But I'm very excited to have this many people. It seems like this stream is starting to grow. This store is... We're called Geek Fortress. We are in Snohomish, Washington, which is in the Pacific Northwest of the U.S. So, I'm very excited by the fact that this stream seems to be growing. Our average viewership used to be about 60 less than this, and it seems like it's really going in a good direction. And part of that might be the fact that I'm advertising on Reddit. I'm going to start trying to do that about every 2 weeks. If you guys did find us through Reddit, let me know. If you found us just through Twitch and from me trying to post on Twitter, if you found us on Twitter, let me know as well. I've been trying to post a lot more on Twitter. But if you guys do have any kind of things like that, I would love to get that feedback just to what is working, because I might start trying to post more on Reddit if that is something that is working, but maybe just still limiting it a little bit. So, Spotty Tail, do we have any Hate Bears, Death and Taxes players here? We have both. There's a Hate Bears player in the room on green-white, and Michael, who is tonight playing, I believe, Lantern Control, but also plays Death and Taxes. We also have Vince out there who is playing a Death and Taxes deck as well. To the Idjit, thank you very much. I'm very excited, and hopefully we can keep those people following. I'd love to see this grow into something much bigger than it currently is. I'm very excited. Anyone playing Wilted Obzon? Yes! There's someone playing Wilted Obzon today who took apart their Obzon company to try playing it Wilted Obzon. So there is someone out there playing it. It's very exciting. You have a suggestion? Get someone to sit out at the feature table and have them record live totals, names, and whatnot. I am very good. That is on my to-do list, absolutely. But we are on a budget of very... Well, we're in a negative budget. We have gained no money, and we have spent lots. So I'm not at a point in which I can ask someone to sit at the table and just do that kind of maintenance. It's on my to-do list and on my future goals list, and I would very much like that. But I'm not in a position in which I can actually provide that to someone else to even make it worth their while. Because if someone's going to sit there and not even be a part of like the commentating and just sit at a table, I'd like to be able to compensate them in some way. So, but thank you to all the people talking about modern. Excellent.
There we go.
To Dio, I'm really glad that you found us that way, and we do have another match. It is going to be Jund versus Jason. Do you know who's on which side yet?
Would not surprise me if Peter was against the wall.
I'm expecting it. And is this Jason West?
Yes.
And what's he playing? I'm expecting Knightfall?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so Knightfall up against
Peter
Jund.
is actually not on the ball.
Oh, you're killing me.
I know, right?
You're killing me. You're killing me.
Yeah.
So we have got Knightfall against the wall, which will be on the right side, which I cannot type right now, which is a Retreat to Coral Helm along with Knight of the Reliquary combo kind of deck mid-rangey. Let's head on down as we go into Game 2, and then we can talk a bit more about it.
Yep.
As you guys talk about Tron, well, Troy...
We don't need more Tron.
Oddly enough, Troy Monster sitting there in the comments.
We don't need more Tron.
Yes, we do.
No, we
I don't need your bias on this stream.
I don't care.
We are a positive stream.
I don't care. Tron can die for all.
No, we are a positive mentality stream.
I am positive I hate Tron.
We are always a positive. We like all decks here. Especially me. Apparently just me. But Troy, yes, is a red-green Tron player on our weekend, so we do get those. And also Josh, who is playing Burn tonight, plays the occasional mono blue Tron.
Okay, mono blue Tron I'm okay with. Red-green Tron I don't have. I can't stand it.
Alright, so Peter up a game as these players are sideboarding. Leave Tron alone! I love it.
I'm okay being the person who hates Tron. I can handle it.
And I have to agree with Sonori. I think that Tron is important for a stable meta. I think that having at least one of everything is very important to our meta remaining as diverse as it is, in which we get to see, and just a quick note to everybody who is possibly new, we have a pretty solid meta.
Yeah, we do.
We have a really... Eldrazi, we weren't even affected by Eldrazi that much, but we tend to have at least 75 to 100% of the Tier 1 decks in the store. In a given week, we do have 2 Modern tournaments, but in a given week, we can get a decent amount of it. Plus, we have a solid amount of the Tier 2. I like it. Of course, it's hard to get all of them, but we can provide a decent amount of them. We will describe Knightfall in just a moment, and we do have a lot of Fringe and just Brews in the same time.
It's really fun. I enjoy Brews a lot.
To the other Troy, to Troy56. I'm not sure if I've seen you in our chat before. Thank you for joining. It's really cool to have you, and I hope that you are enjoying the show. All right.
Split the chat in half about this whole Tron issue.
Seriously.
I didn't expect this much of a thing. I was just gonna be kind of just gonna hate on Tron because it's fun, but I mean,
what decks do we both main? I main Affinity in Modern.
I play Abs and Coco.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than that, my favorite burn is there you go. My favorite deck is Burn. My
Your
favorite
burn is all of them.
Why is it called Tron? First, let's talk about Knightfall.
Sure.
So, that is going to be working with Knight of the Reliquary. Now, this is a Bant-colored deck, which is...
green, white, blue.
Yes. And it is going to be mostly based around just value creatures, having very valuable ones. But within the deck, there is a combo. One of them being this Knight of the Reliquary. So, what it does is that it gets +1/+1 for each land in your graveyard. And then you can tap it to sacrifice a forest or plains to search your library for a land card, put it on the battlefield, then shuffle your library. So, that is going to be a really solid one. The other half of the combo is called Retreat to Coral Helm, which, if you're new to the deck, you might be familiar with because it is in Standard.
Yep.
So, Retreat to Coral Helm has landfall, that whenever a land enters the battlefield, you get to choose one of these. You can tap or untap target creature. Well, what you do is you sacrifice a land with the Knight of the Reliquary, and when that new land enters, you untap the Knight of the Reliquary. Tap it again, wash, rinse, repeat. You can even use fetch lands, which provide an additional landfall trigger to tap down your opponents. Eventually, you end up with your opponent completely tapped out, plenty of mana, and also a 20/20 Knight of the Reliquary because of the 18 lands in your graveyard. So, you have that, you assemble it, and you can attack for a lethal amount. Beyond that, it tends to just run a lot of blue, green, white value cards. Voice of Resurgence, sometimes Geist of St. Traft, because Retreat to Coral Helm also allows you to tap down their blockers in a very cool way.
Also, Collected Company, since you can hit Knight, and a lot of other cards you just mentioned.
Okay. As for people talking about blue is underpowered right now, we will likely never get Jace, but Preordain or Ancestral Visions I think are a possibility, but maybe giving some time, just waiting to see what happens when we actually have a post-meta.
Post-twin meta, yeah. But there's a great thing that we can talk about after the round.
Okay. So, Blazing Gunner, thanks for watching. I'm not sure if I've seen you before. I had to quick it out. So, we have a Windswept Heath into a Temple Garden, going for a fetch shock down to 17 and playing a Birds of Paradise, which is going to be a really nice one. It allows you to turn 3, which allows you to get out the combo possibly on turn 3. It can theoretically you can win on turn 3.
Yep. It's not easy.
It's not easy, but if nothing else, that bird would be really nice against protection against Liliana of the Veil eventually. All right, to Reich 889, thank you for joining. I know that a lot of people don't think things are going to be unbanned, and I think that's reasonable. But I think that those are both significantly more likely than Jace. Because
Jason having 2 companies is going to be great.
And what is that 4th card?
That's the promo Courser of Crewfix.
That is the promo. Okay, so we have a Kitchen Finks, a Courser of Crewfix, and 2 collected companies. It is a really powerful hand for Jason.
All he has to do is just make some land drops.
Basically. And that's the biggest issue, is that he doesn't have those.
He doesn't have a second land.
So if he does get a second land, I think and I would have said he was going to be going for that Kitchen Finks. But I would have, if I'm Peter, I actually might have taken away the Courser.
I think I would too.
He doesn't have any lands right now.
Yeah.
And so if he does get a second land, you're now enabling him to hit a whole variety of other lands.
Yeah.
So.
But if Peter has a removal spell, taking the Finks is definitely the right call.
Mm-hmm. Also to K Trojan, thank you for joining as well. I didn't see you. Same to Dice Hoarder. You guys are incredible for joining, and I hope that you guys are enjoying the show. All right. So, nonetheless, I agree. I don't have strong feelings. I don't think that anything will be unbanned yet until we have an actual post-Twin, post-Eldrazi meta to provide some data points, because we got very little relevant data. All right. Let's see here.
Voice here is Torpor Orb. Interesting.
So a Torpor Orb is going to be a pretty interesting choice, and playing that seems very odd against Jund, which doesn't have a whole lot of enter the battlefield abilities. The biggest one I can think of is
Huntmaster.
Huntmaster. Beyond that, I can't really think of any.
Yeah.
So it seems very odd to me to have sideboarded that in.
Not to mention you're playing Kitchen Finks. Yeah.
All right. So. Looks like a Bolt going for that bird. Jason down to 1 mana, and I think we're going to be seeing basically a win and 2 for Jund here, who is taking a huge advantage off of this.
Yeah, this there are not many decks in the format that you want to keep one-landers against.
All right, and we have got another Dark Confidant, kind of showing his confidence in this right now. Being willing to take all this extra damage really shows that he's confident in this.
Do it too.
So, going to be taking 1 damage off of this for a Thoughtseize and a land. Probably going to be drawing into
which one I played Dark Confidant, they were this good to me.
No kidding.
Yeah.
My only Dark Confidants dealt damage to me, but I was actually happy about it because it was a Death Shadow deck. Because I'm cool. So, a swing for 4 into Jason. And if he has removal, you can expect it to be used right now.
Yeah.
Alright. So... as a quick note, I see Jazzy Horde asking a question our way. Unfortunately, we will respond to questions at the end of this. We try and focus at least a bit on the play. I've been getting distracted by the chat, unfortunately.
There's Thoughtseize coming in. I would imagine he's probably just going to take down the Courser, and then he has another... I think he has another removal or a discard spell.
And a Liliana taken down. I really like that. -2 to take down the Noble Hierarch. And now you can just start plussing and completely shred apart whatever is left of that.
There's the land. That's always how it works.
Exactly. So, March Madness 2103 again. Thanks for joining. I'm not sure if I've seen you in our chat before. All right. So, we have got...
I think it's 3. 8, 9.
A Scavenging Ooze and a Bolt. Both of those extremely good in this particular situation as well. Because that Bolt is going to provide just pressure that is going to come from, he can swing for 4, put him down to 7. That means that Jason is on a 2-turn clock. Because that Bolt puts him functionally at 8 right now.
Yep. And the Raging Ravine also attacks.
Mm-hmm.
So Jason's actually dead next turn. I believe.
Yes, he is dead regardless next turn.
Yep.
So, no matter what, even if he removes one of these Dark Confidants, you're correct in which there's a killing board, especially with the Scavenging Ooze. So Peter in an extremely favorable position at this point, going for another Inquisition and just going to take down that Napa. Okay.
Yeah, this is kind of how you want to play it out. Let's see, what could Jason draw here? Let's see.
He's got 2 mana.
If he has any card in the history
Yeah.
of Magic.
I mean,
Ancestral Recall?
yeah, pretty much. But
He has to have a recall into Mox Sapphire into another recall.
so a quick win there for Jund, and you know what that means? That means that we can get more games on this stream because
Yeah,
we've
for
still
sure.
got 20 minutes left. So there is nothing but more Magic to be coming. Well, hopefully. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. What if I
Yeah.
finish really quick? But do you think you could do me another favor, the amazing Mr. Coleman?
I will try.
All right, we'll see you in the booth. Hello and thank you for joining me. I am continually amazed by the fact that so many of you are just fantastic. The chat being very active right now, I do really enjoy that. And you guys just are incredible. So we're trying to get another match on there. Coleman, my amazing co-host, who's going to be my Wednesday co-host all of this month. And also my co-host for March 26th, the Modern Grand Prix Trial, which you should join us. It's going to be at noon as opposed to 6 o'clock, which is our usual standard, or our usual modern streaming time, not our standard, because standard means a different thing when you're talking about Magic. But March 26th, 2.5 weeks from now, starting at noon Pacific Standard Time, Coleman and I will be doing commentary for a 5 to 6 round Modern tournament, plus a cut to top 8. Asking if we stream other than Wednesdays. Yes, a schedule can be found right down here, but let me tell you about it. We stream 3 times a week. 2 of them are Modern, and 1 of them is Legacy. Modern is on Wednesdays and Saturdays. Wednesdays at 7 o'clock Pacific time, and Saturdays at 6 o'clock Pacific time. It is currently 10:30 now. On Fridays, we do Legacy, and we do that at 7:30 on those Fridays. It is part of our FNM. That one is a little bit unusual, in which we allow proxies. We don't sanction that tournament, and we allow people to try out different decks with the one stipulation that the proxies have to be good, and if they win any credit, then they have to spend it on the cards that they are currently proxying. So what is Tron? Tron is a mana acceleration kind of control deck that assembles 3 lands called Urza's Tower, Urza's Mine, and Urza's Power Plant. When you have all 3, instead of tapping for a single mana, they tap for 7 mana collectively.
Yep.
So you accelerate an extremely large amount of mana ahead of curve, and then you start powering out very controlling threats. Karn is a planeswalker. On turn 3, you can start going for the lands or for the threats. So it is a very powerful deck that tends to play extremely ahead of curve, usually with a lot of colorless cards, splashing green and red to control the board and also accelerate finding those lands. So it is a very, very cool deck, again, in a position in which I like most things, but that is there goes with that again.
Let's not get into this again.
Of course.
There are people who don't like Tron, and then there are people who are wrong.
Yep. As a quick note, too, K Trojan to Parvenko to
Porous Boat?
Esperani, Porous Boat. I don't think that I've seen you guys previously, and you guys are incredible for joining. I do hope that you are enjoying the show. Be sure to hit that follow button. Do we have a match?
No, we don't.
Okay, is that everything?
The only other match that's going on right now is Prison vs. Lantern, and no one wants to watch that.
Okay, and they're on game 3?
Game 1.
Oh my goodness.
So let's not touch that.
Um,
Everyone else is in Game 3, and I don't want to move any of them.
Goodness gracious. So they're on game 1. We'd have to move them once they finish that one after everything else.
If people care, me and Peter are going to play some Legacy.
Okay. Excellent. So, sorry, I missed a couple of questions here. We like all the decks in Modern except Eldrazi. To be honest, I like the Eldrazi conceptually.
Oh,
I just
really
think
cool.
that once you combine them with everything else, it becomes problematic.
No, I'm not gonna put him on.
Ex-
No, guys. Sorry, I'm not doing it.
Then, nice Mariners hat. Yeah, he likes the
Yeah,
Mariners.
I like the Mariners. I'm used to disappointment.
All right, and the problem is that we'd have to move that. We can't move them game 1. We can't get them in the middle of a game, and I'm not even sure what is going to happen. So if it becomes convenient for game 2, but most likely,
I think they might be just agreeing to a draw right now. I'm not sure. I'd have to ask.
Okay, so let's ask a quick question. A lot of things happening up right now. I'm going to ask a quick question. 2 people are going to be playing Legacy. We can toss it up, but We can toss up a legacy game. We probably won't do a whole lot of commentary
Probably not.
over it. We can if you guys prefer that, but if you guys just want
It's
to
also
watch...
Reanimator versus Jund.
Yeah, so
It's not going to be that interactive.
if you guys would like, we can put that on and just... three options. One, we can stay here and answer questions and interact with you guys. Two, we can put up the legacy, just show that, but to be down in the corner, answering questions and having fun.
Yep.
Three, if you guys would like, we can just go down and actually commentate it. If you guys just let us know. But, Porous Boat, I hope you enjoyed the show. Be sure to hit follow. Join us again on Friday for some Legacy and Saturday for some Modern.
Yeah.
Legacy and answer, question, show and talk. All right, so can you double check the side that they are on? And let's go ahead and get it set up.
Looks like Dylan's going to be against the wall.
So, Dylan, jump on.
Dylan's on the wall, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Wait, which wall? There's 2 walls.
Hardy har.
Thank you.
Nailed it.
Maybe you can tell from the swing.
All right.
I'm
So,
going to go with Mason on this one.
so Legacy Jund versus Legacy Reanimator. Peter versus Dylan. We're not going to be able to update stuff, but it looks like a lot of people are looking to ask some questions. So, let's head on down and let's go down. Welcome back. These two players are going to play and we're going to answer some questions. First question I see is, can the players hear our commentary? If it is very, 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 very quiet out there, then they can. But
when we get that, we try to be quiet.
But otherwise, no, they cannot hear us. It's pretty loud out there. So, other than that, what have we got? What Legacy deck would you recommend for someone new to Modern? Realistically, probably Burn. And everyone's going to say, TJ recommended Burn. What a revolutionary idea. But it's simple. It has its own game plan. You don't need to totally know what your opponents are trying to do. So it really gives you the opportunity to learn the format from the perspective of a proactive deck. And it's got some good matchups.
Yep.
Secondary one, Merfolk.
Primary one, anything that's not Doomsday.
Okay, that's fair too.
But realistically, it depends on your playstyle. I would not recommend Miracles, because you really need to have some experience playing in Legacy for that, since you need to float your tops very often. But yeah, I'd honestly probably say Burn. Maybe Storm if you play the Modern Storm list, because there's not really a lot of difference. You just need to learn how to play around counterspells a little bit better.
To Jazzy Horde, asking, do we think that they could just unban Twin and not ban the Eldrazi? No. Eldrazi would beat Twin. Eldrazi would beat Twin like nobody's business.
I don't even think it's that close.
Eldrazi is just very clearly a deck that is unhealthy for the meta. It is this. We are looking at one of the top warped metagames of all time with Magic. It is one of the top 5 ever. So I do not think that it is likely. I think we will be seeing one of the pieces of the mana base get banned. All right.
Peter, are you in Bug? Shardless. Okay, sorry. Peter's on Shardless Bug.
Oh, okay. Sorry, we were wrong there.
Yeah, my bad. I assumed it was Jund.
Okay, let's see if our whole thing can fit that whole... Yes. Love it. What else do we have? Whoever was asking about Legacy decks learn, also suggest playing Pauper because you can get a lot of ideas. Fun fact, this summer we are going to be trying to get Pauper going in this store, and it is something that we're looking at. I'm not sure if I'll be able to add it to our weekly streams, but we are going to try and have at least the occasional stream for it. What else do we have here? I missed a bunch of questions. Favorite affordable deck for modern newbies? Probably Burn or Infect, personally.
Burn's not that cheap anymore, though. Goblin Guys are $50.
Oh, that's a really good point. How about Delver is a really solid one.
Delver's a good one.
Boggles is a lot of fun. But I think Delver's lets you get a lot of staples.
Yeah, Merfolk is actually pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to... Well, because files are expensive now.
Pravenko, I'm not surprised that Twin got crushed by Eldrazi. The current Eldrazi deck is exactly what would have had a positive matchup against.
Yeah,
Twin
even the colorless Eldrazi at the Pro Tour crushed Twin.
Okay.
Because a couple other people did that. Yeah, I mean there are a couple decks. I mean, what was it? Company is actually pretty cheap.
That's true.
Actually, you could probably just port 4-color Rally. Just play with slightly better creatures.
You could, and the biggest thing is
wouldn't be that bad.
It really depends on what you are looking to do. Sonoris the Priest is really doing some good ones, but if you like aggro, then there are great options. If you like combo, there are options in Storm and Ad Nauseam.
Mm-hmm.
If you like control, there is options. Actually, if you look at the blue-white control list, it's not that expensive.
Yeah, the blue-white control list. Yeah, the Blood Artist rally deck that
Yep.
I've actually played for a while.
So there are options, absolutely. All right, so we are now getting to a point to where we are going to be trying to answer questions. Affinity is not cheap anymore, but I do think that Affinity is a really good deck for learning the format. I played it a lot. It's very forgiving, but also extremely powerful given time. Okay.
I've been a huge fan of blue-white control for a long time.
Also, to cheer up, I really like a lot of the current Goblin decks.
I do too.
You can even build it without Goblin Guide and it would be okay. So, a quick note, let's play a game of 6 words, because we are getting a lot of questions, and actually, you know what, let's save that. I decided let's save that. If you guys do have conversations that you would like us, any Stratos over Innistrad cards that catch your eye for Modern, Thing in the Ice is pretty sweet.
Yeah.
I really like it.
I really like the counter sorcery. And then Delirium.
Man, talking about, you seem to be predicting a lot of cards.
I'm really good at predicting cards, man.
So, Affinity, a lot of fun. Oh, I don't go 1-2. Just everyone in there is thrilled that I don't play Modern in there anymore. They are thrilled. So, Affinity is on the watch list. Not really.
No.
The watch list doesn't exactly exist. It is more just an idea that people have talked about and then have their own list that they've talked about.
Yeah. Living End is also a good one.
Mm-hmm.
But that deck's not cheap anymore, unfortunately. You need Fulminator Mages for that deck to work.
To back no, the 8-whack list is very, very cool.
8-rack, also a card that, or also a card. It's also a deck that's actually pretty good right now.
To Sonoria, I know you were joking, but you know, I haven't had the opportunity to play in a little bit, so I had to get my shots in there because hopefully they're going to be watching it. All right.
What are you going to play in Popper?
What am I going to play in Popper? That's a great question. Burn. We all knew. We all knew.
Probably playing Elves.
Sonori, 8-whack, not 8-rack. It is different, and there was one that was put together by Saffron Olive on MTG Goldfish recently.
I mean, well, the normal 8-rack deck, you just don't play Liliana. You just don't play Bridge. The deck's pretty cheap.
Also, to Master Jareth, I don't think that we've seen you in the chat before. Thank you for joining. If you're brand new, be sure to hit that follow button. If you're not brand new, welcome back, but mostly it's just good to hear from you.
Is $9?
What is?
Legion Loyalist.
Oh my goodness. That is amazing.
What?
Saffron Olive, for someone who builds budget decks, has an
Jeez.
amazing capacity not to build budget decks anymore.
Yeah. Oh no, it's like he builds budget decks,
Mm-hmm.
and then they don't become budget anymore.
Alright, and Master Jareth, great. You're brand new, and I'm really happy to have you here, so hopefully you can rejoin us. We do these 3 times a week. Schedule's right below us, and it's all Pacific Standard Time. Kodotha Jeskai will be my deck of choice if you ever show up. Sonori, I would love it if you showed up. That would be
Yeah, go figure.
super
$9.
cool.
Yeah.
It's
insane.
Uh,
I can handle being Cedric Phillips.
I'm okay with being Patrick Sullivan. I can. Thank you. That is. I mean, I've got a leather jacket. I can be Tom Ross too. So, could 8-whack benefit from a green splash for Coco? No, but 8-whack could benefit from a green splash for a Tarkus command.
Yep.
But Coco, no. That is more of a mid-range value card, and an aggro deck doesn't.
Yeah. Actually, I think I haven't seen. I saw A-List. I'm not sure its most recent list, but I think it's Shared Animosity. I'm not sure if the list was playing that.
Yeah, that is a recent little bit of tech.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the coolest piece of tech in Elves right now, and I know that you know what it is.
It's really cool against. It's really. I don't know how Lantern beats that card.
Spellskite, mostly.
That's fine.
Biorhythm. Biorhythm in Elves sideboard.
Oh god, it's really cool.
Alright. To Rolly, I can understand him adding that, but to be honest, I'm not a fan.
Cloudstone Curio is really cool.
Cloudstone Curio is very sweet. That one is not sideboard, that's mainboard.
No, that's
now.
mainboard.
And so the sweetest one is Biorhythm, which makes every player's life total equal to the number of creatures they control. Against Lantern control, that means 0.
Yep.
It is the sweetest piece of tech.
Biorhythm. Okay, so Biorhythm costs 6 green. It's a sorcery. Then each player's life total becomes the number of creatures he or she controls.
Okay. Perfect.
You just keep it in your opening hand; they'll just give you lands.
Exactly.
They can't Inquisition it.
The deck is pretty capable at drawing cards these days too.
Oh yeah, especially if you play the Cloudstone
The
version.
Cloudstone version, where you
Yeah.
have the... I'm totally spacing on the name right now,
The
but...
Visionary.
Thank you. Elvish Visionary is an extremely good tool for drawing cards, and with Cloudstone Curio,
Yeah.
it becomes an insane amount of draw power. So, to all the people, I just want to say a quick thank you for multiple things. One, we are 8 people away from having 1,000 followers.
Yeah.
1,000.
That's insane.
That is beyond my wildest dreams for this stream. Pretty much, I mean, even to this day, I'm still like, we're probably not going to get... So I just want to say thank you to all of you. I'm going to try and come up with something special for when we do get to 1,000. Maybe not to the same point as when we get to 500, but I just want to say thank you. You guys are the 100 plus that are just hanging out in a Magic stream, watching some Legacy decks that we all know are just sitting there to entertain us.
Yeah.
We're not even talking about it. But you guys are incredible for being just a part of this, and I hope that you guys are being entertained by this Legacy. A quick note, if you are brand new, be sure to follow me on Twitter. I try to be, I don't know, mildly entertaining. If I can be more entertaining or less entertaining, I can't be less entertaining.
Pretty
What
sure
am I
that-
joking?
Just to vaguely comment on this match here, I'm pretty sure that Iona probably should have been blue.
I
I don't think it was super important, but whatever. Especially when you have an Ancestral Visions right there.
Yes. Now,
Yeah.
here's a quick little straw poll that I want to toss out. And this is probably... Oh, Whirly, have a good night. I hope to
Yep.
see you next time. Thoughts on Noble Hierarch into Leon and Arbiter Ghost Quarter turn 2? It is a very powerful play.
It's good.
I like it a lot.
I'm not going to say it's not.
It's very good.
Yeah.
You get to take down a land, but yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm not going to try and pronounce the name. Vahovies? I don't know. But talking
yeah.
about Thing in the Ice in Modern Storm,
I think it's really good in the board.
I think in the board.
Yeah, it's incredible in the board. I don't think it's good enough in the main.
All right. Is Serum Visions good enough for Legacy? No, it is not.
I think he's talking about Ancestral Visions.
Oh, then yes.
Yeah, it's incredible with Shardless Agent.
When you cascade into it and cast it for free,
Yeah.
it's very, very good.
And you can set it up with Brainstorm. Like, Ancestral Vision is actually... Ancestral Vision, I remember about, like, a year ago, was, like, the best card in Legacy.
Actually, when we get to 1,000, I have a dinosaur onesie. I'll wear it for the stream. Yeah, I've got a dinosaur onesie.
Oh,
If that's what you guys want, I'll do it.
and that's 1,000?
That's at 1,000 viewers, and I'll do the next stream in a dinosaur onesie. If that's what you guys want.
Okay.
Arbiter play is that when Arbiter isn't good, it's bad. You know, that's not entirely true.
Yeah.
And the problem is that it's still a 2/2 for 2, and when you are making it good by using your Ghost Quarters, by allowing them fetches, I agree that it's very much a meta choice. First of all, to Blue Dustin Man, I'm not sure if I've seen you in the chat before, and I'm really excited to have you here. I'm glad to have you, and hopefully you're enjoying the show if you are brand new. Do I have it with me? No. It's often in my car, but not this time. I replaced my backup random shirt with The Room shirt that says "You're tearing me apart, Lisa." All right.
That's great.
Jazzy Horde, why was Dig banned in Legacy?
Because that card's insane.
Looking at... You have seen this... Oh, yeah. It's actually my Twitter profile picture is me in that onesie. Vajovies? Oh, okay.
For the record, Aaron's playing. He's trying to... Yeah.
Oh, okay. It's now Aaron... Britain, I believe?
I believe so.
Okay, let's update that. To Blue Dustin Man, I am sorry that I did miss those. I'm really excited that you came last Tuesday. I now remember that you asked if we did a draft. Did you find us because you came for the draft, or did you just happen to find us? I'm really curious about that. That would be super cool. All right. Wait, yeah, I actually have a onesie. I have a dinosaur onesie. I impulse bought it a year and 3 months ago for Christmas. I was visiting all my friends on Christmas, basically just crashing whatever house I was next. I walked into their house and was saying hi and Merry, and I happened to find my friend has a sister who was in a dinosaur onesie, and I was like, I need that. Where is it? And she was like, Amazon for $20, and I was like, done, ordered, immediately ordered. It is fantastic. So, yeah, that's definitely something interesting. What are you... Oh,
I don't know. This is just hilarious that you have a onesie.
you haven't... I wear it for any time that I'm helping out run any of the major events. Like, before when I wasn't streaming, I would wear it for every pre-release and GPTs and things like that.
That's great.
To Alfred is Love. First of all, fantastic name. And I know they say this to a lot of people, but I can't handle it. I thank you so much for that positive feedback. If you do want to help us out, if you want to follow the page, or follow the Twitch stream, if you want to follow me on Twitter, I'll let you guys know when I'm streaming. And also, I occasionally make posts on Reddit. And I know that this is me kind of but if you happen to see any of my posts on Reddit and want to toss in just some positive words to maybe convince other people to come check it out,
Yeah, definitely.
I would genuinely appreciate it, because it's like I make a post and I'm like, man, I really think that we have a cool product and I'd love it if you guys could come see it and all these things, but I don't really have a whole lot of way to provide like proof, beside for the fact that people tell me they like it. So if you guys can help out, then that would be great. Yes, we do have a YouTube, and I'm sure that Doro is going to beat me to it, but I'm going to try. Got it.
We
Beat
got
him.
there first.
So, what kind of dinosaur? It's a T-Rex. Duh.
In case anyone was curious.
What?
Jeskai Control,
Just
Naya Burn,
Uh-huh.
Logan's Enchantment deck.
Ooh.
He won 2 rounds at 1-0.
Oh.
Alright.
Okay.
And allies.
All right.
I gotta-
Peter at Jund in 5th.
I gotta
So-
talk to you before I leave about something.
We got, this is our top 5. Peter with Jund at 5th place, followed by Naya Allies, followed by Red White Enchantment Prison, which can be found on our tapped out page with the username Geek Fortress. I can probably repost it, I'm sure. Followed by, nope, cannot. Followed by, what else did I have? Oh yeah, followed by Naya Burn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Followed by the Jeskai Control. That is our top 5. So, do we have an online store? No, we do not.
Yeah.
Currently, I am not the owner. Coleman is not the owner.
No.
I just help out here a lot, and Coleman helps out me a lot.
Yep.
But I'm working on trying to get him to start posting some of his at least rarer stuff
Yeah.
or harder to find stuff online on our website. But currently, we do not have an online store. But nonetheless, if you want to, I don't know. I'm always happy to talk. I'm really hoping, because lately a lot more people have been communicating with me on Twitter, and it has been the very coolest thing. And actually, someone asked me if I can post the deck list of Norin Sisters and the Kiki Chord with the blue splash, and I'll see what I can do.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely I can try. I'll get in touch with them. So I think the Norin Sisters was copied off of a primer, but nonetheless. Okay.
Oh, what is this noise?
I don't know. There was a big long link. I'm not going to punish you for it, but if people could keep links to a
Yeah.
minimum. We try not to clog it up. We took it off of being immediately restricted,
Yeah.
with the hopes just allowing people to do the occasional one, but we would rather not have to ban it again if it ever becomes a problem. Again, not saying that was a problem, but just a note to people in general. So, Spotty Tail asking, do we do anything with MTGO? It's funny you ask. Currently, no. We only do these live tournaments 3 times a week. But if I get this job, we're hoping here, then I will likely be moving into a place with significantly better internet.
That is the dream.
And so there is a decent chance in which that down the line I will be starting to do some streaming on MTGO as well. Very likely continuing, maybe the occasional draft, which will mostly be supplemented by me talking about whatever comes to mind. Because it is, I don't know, drafting I'm good at, but I tend to force red, and I'd have to break out of my habit of forcing red.
You never force anything.
But yeah, if possible, I'd love to play people on MTGO.
I play Moto sometimes, and not as much lately.
What is the job? For now, I know that I mentioned it, but I'd rather not mention too much about it until I have more information about it. Or whether or not I got the job, just so that I'm not putting out information saying that I might be working here and that I'm not. And just to avoid the situation, I will give more information if I am able to get that job. Where will I be moving? Most likely into Everett, with the other possibility being in town Snohomish if I can find a place cheap enough, or possibly Mill Creek.
Well,
I like Mill Creek.
I work in Everett, so.
Do you?
Yep.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thing in the Ice is a spoiler that they released recently to Yokar 1. Thank you for joining. I'm not sure if I've seen you in the chat before, in the stream before. Thank you for joining. We are just kind of winding down. We did have a modern tournament, and we're just letting some legacy players play on stream while answering some questions. But it's really cool to have you, Yokar 1, and hopefully you are
How
enjoying...
weird Dylan's deck is sometimes. Like he's got Simeon's Spirit Guide and Unburial Rights. Where's Chase when you need him?
Alright. Sonori, I do mean a Mill Creek in Washington. But, you know, if I find my way into Pennsylvania, then maybe.
Yeah.
Actually, I like Pennsylvania a lot, so I'm a Steelers fan.
Yeah, you're weird.
I am weird. I was raised a Steelers
You're in
fan.
enemy territory here.
Please use that as a reason to hit the follow button if that matters to you. Don't use that as a reason to not hit the follow button.
Yeah, if you're a Steelers fan, hit the follow button. If you're not a Steelers fan, hit the follow button.
Also to Kibler Gaming, thanks for joining. I hope you are enjoying the show. I'm not sure if I've seen you, and I'm honestly not sure if that's the real Kibler.
In
not.
my head, I hope it is. But
In
if
my
it's-
head, I genuinely hope it is.
if it's not,
I'm going to approach it with disbelief, nonetheless. Ooh, Troy jumping in there. Love it. Love it. But I'm hoping that might be the real Kibler. I don't know.
maybe. Ooh, now we're getting into the trash talk.
Alfred is Love. Where are we geographically in Washington? We are in Snohomish, Washington. It is about 45 minutes north of Seattle. It is about 10 to 15 minutes east of Everett, if you know where that is. That's kind of the best way, but mostly in the Sound area, in the Puget Sound, little, Snohomish County, but we're in Snohomish, so that makes sense.
Yep.
So
Yeah, he's got the LED plus Unburial Rights combo that I didn't know was a combo.
yeah, I think Josh is on now. No, but there's still what is happening?
I don't know.
This is Aaron's Storm. This is this is Aaron's Reanimator deck.
Okay.
This is Aaron's Reanimator deck, which is only blue-red and does some crazy weird things, but it's super cool.
Okay.
Dark Saga, unfortunately, we are at the end of our matches for the night for Modern, so we are just kind of hanging out, letting some Legacy players play on the stream just to fill some time while we hang out and answer questions with you guys. Sorry that you did miss some of the Modern, but we will be doing more of this on Saturday at 6 o'clock p.m. Pacific Time. Let's see here. I can change the title to what? I guess interactive chatting. Let's do that.
That's not bad.
Let's do that. We'll change it to interactive chatting. Okay. Hopefully that'll fix it. My apologies to the Dark Saga. We will have more Modern next week at 7 o'clock Pacific Time, and also on Friday. Okay. Might make the trip up. Oh,
we're in Clark County.
Alfred, that would be excellent.
Yeah.
If you ever have
come
any
by.
questions, let us know. Follow me on Twitter. I'll happily discuss any kinds of things, and we can try and set something up sometime. Thoughts on the amulet deck you sent me? I think that it's actually pretty sweet. I'm not sure how I feel about it in its entirety. It's an interesting deck.
It is what it is.
Yeah. All right. I think that name might have been too long, so I'm gonna chatting with chat. It might still be too long. Is there like there is? Let's see here. We'll just call it chatting. All right. Hopefully that'll help people, or possibly I can't change the name. I don't honestly know.
How do we think Infect's going to be after Eldrazi rotates, quote unquote, or after something happens? I think it'll be fine. I don't think it's going to be the best deck in Modern.
No, probably not the best deck in Modern, unfortunately. I do think it will be good, especially if the format slows down at all. If people start losing any of that removal. Mm-hmm. So is that what it's showing up as? Excellent. Alright, then I'm going to bring it back. Sorry, I didn't even realize that it actually saved. It's not actually showing the change for me. So, sorry, I'm getting all distracted by trying to do things. Hopefully you're able to come up. Dutch, it was really cool meeting you. I'm glad that you came up. I hope to see you for this next Grand Prix trial.
Yep.
March 26th. Come join us. Self-plug. Nailing it.
Yeah, look at that.
Is the new Bloomless Amulet. Yes, the deck is pretty cool. It reminds me a lot of that Knightfall deck, that Retreat to Coral Helm and Knightfall, but it also has like the other alternate. It's a pretty interesting deck. I'm not sure how I feel about it, but it's pretty cool. To AYXRS22. You've been playing Magic for about a year and still have no idea how to build a deck. Any tips? That is a great question.
Yep.
The only way that I can describe that in so many words is that the easiest way to start deck building is to come up with a plan. To come up with a single thing that you want to do in that game and pick 9 cards that do that game plan.
Okay.
So what you want to, and then get 4 of them. Get 4 of each of those cards. So that is a decent start. It'll get you to having 24 lands and 9 cards, all of which are redundant, and it'll get you to consistent deck building.
Yep.
Now, if you find yourself needing more 1-drops, just add in 1-drops, replace one of them, and as cards don't work, start replacing. As you continue to keep those with 9 cards and 4-ofs, eventually you can add up to 10 cards that are all 4-ofs, and
I'll see you later.
eventually it will kind of work out. But there is a decent amount of writing on. That's the best that I can do with just trying to get to some other things. Hopefully that did help. If I can clarify it all, let me know.
Also, just talk to people.
Yes.
The community is probably the best community in terms of gaming.
Asking questions.
Yeah, they will definitely help you out if you have any questions.
To Blue Dustin Man, how much worse is Malara's company without Hierarch? Unfortunately, it's not fantastic.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
It doesn't hurt it a lot. I mean, not hugely. You can run it. You can.
You could probably play like
Birds of Paradise and like 2 Elvish Mystic.
I think you play Arbor Elf.
Oh, okay. Arbor Elf would be a really good one. Yeah.
But it's not great because you definitely need the white, and you can't really get away with not playing a lot of mana dorks.
All right. I'm going to say start with the most recent 2 blocks.
Yeah. It all depends on the format you want to play. If you're just starting, I would recommend Standard.
Yes. And a lot of people say don't play Standard. You can either start with, but to keep it concise.
Yeah. To keep it concise, should probably just stick with Standard. Especially if you're newer to the game, there's not going to be as many weird things you don't see coming, and there's not going to be as many as in general. It's not going to be as quote unquote broken as it would be in something like Modern or Legacy.
Okay.
And let's not even talk about Vintage.
Let's not even talk about Vintage. So let's get into a fun little game, and some of you might know this, and I'm guessing that most of you do know this. But our Ralph gets more colors. Yeah, I think you are definitely right on that one. So let's play the fun game of 6 questions. Or I'm sorry, 6 words.
Six questions for the one question.
Exactly. But 6 words. Let's play some 6 words. There's going to be a thing. Dang it, I put 5 words. I nailed it. 6 words.
There we go.
So, let's play a fun game of 6 words. If you guys have a question for us, put @GeekFortress in your question. Just put @GeekFortress, 6 words. Thank you guys, and the stream's probably... Oh, you are so welcome. One of my favorite things about Magic, and even this group in general, is the community, more than anything else. This community is incredible, and I can't wait to see what we... I mean, I'm still looking at just trying to get a basic fan base going, but I'm really hoping that we can start doing a bunch of other stuff eventually.
How good is Life Gain Against Burn as the resident Burn player?
Ooh. Skullcrack and Atarka's command disagree with it. What do you got?
Dedicated Life Gain solves some parts of it.
What else have we got? Now, I'm going to let you start with this one. What deck is best against Coco?
Tron. Pyroclasm is stupid.
Really? Come on, you are so bitter.
It's the best. Actually, Scape Shift is also really good.
I'd probably toss out...
And John Dekin. You can lose games to John, but all in all, like I have a full thing I could link here. I'm not going to.
Alright, here's another one that I'm actually going to say that Death and Taxes has a pretty decent matchup against it.
Everyone keeps telling me that. I don't believe them.
Okay, that's, you play the deck, so
yeah,
I'm inclined to believe you.
It'll stop the company part, and it'll stop the company, it'll stop
But
core.
it doesn't stop it from being a value deck.
Yeah, and you still play a Kitchen Finks, and your opponent just looks at it like, oh, now I have to play this. My Thalia is really bad.
Blind Piper, 6 words. What are your favorite cube archetypes? I think while you think about it, I can get going, but you gotta get quicker.
That's fine.
I always force red. Literally always.
Anything that's super dependent on synergy.
What is our favorite kitty card? Probably... Oh, I don't want to say Quasali Pride Mage. What am I thinking?
No.
I'm gonna say Brimaz. Card's sweet.
Oh, I don't want... I also don't... I would have said Premax, but I don't want to copy you. Let's see. Cat card. Obviously it's Sanctuary Cat.
Nice.
Obviously.
That is a good one. What is the best deck in Modern currently, and why is it Wargate? Eldrazi. Seriously, that deck is bonkers.
Because Wargate can find Eldrazi.
Oh, yeah, that's true. You could pay a low 5 mana to just go for an Eldrazi Mimic.
Yeah.
Life is easy.
Yeah. Obviously.
Obviously. Magic is easy.
The most Death and Taxes list I've seen are playing Hallowed Moonlight. Which is...
To stop Coco, mostly it's just things like Thalia, and in my mind I was thinking the Leonin Arbiter
Chord.
and stopping Chord.
Yeah.
But I guess in my mind I was thinking of taxes against Kiki Chord more than I was Obs on Company, and I have to agree that against Obs on Company it's just not as effective.
Yeah. Castalia Embouchure is a great one too.
What is my favorite red cube card? Now that is a pretty solid question. And I don't know Cube well enough to really answer that question extremely well. But probably...
It's Fun-Tongue Kavu.
Flame-Tongue Kavu is pretty good.
That's my favorite one.
I tend to go for like removal really well.
Fun-Tongue Kavu is removal. It's everything.
It is everything. Ooh, how about the worst mythic in Modern Masters? What was that?
Oh.
Something Meteor.
Comet Storm?
Comet Storm. I like Comet Storm.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, mostly... Ooh, no, Searing Blood. Searing Blood or Searing
Searing
Blaze?
Blood's a good one, yeah.
Searing Blood or Searing Blaze are probably my 2 favorite cards.
I think Firebolt might be a personal favorite.
Firebolt also very good. Price of Progress pretty good depending on what the cube is. So all kinds of different things.
Yeah,
Vortex. You're right. Sulfuric Vortex is absolutely my favorite one. That card
Vortex is a great one.
I drafted that so much in Conspiracy, which is, I know, odd. It's a rare, but it found me. By the way, a quick note to anybody who's watching this, whoever drafted Conspiracy, I owe you an apology. I know that Conspiracy is meant to be all kinds of fun and basically EDH the draft, but I drafted a red deck wins every single time and basically just would aggro out on the field.
I drafted Mono Defenders.
And so I once got a turn 3 kill. I drafted 2 Conspiracies that double the card, and I named the one that has Morbid for 5 damage.
Oh, Brimstone Volley?
Yes. So what I did was... I'm sorry, it was a turn 4 kill. It was a turn 4, and what happened was that I ended up going turn 1 into a Skittering Lizards, turn 2 into 2 Skittering Lizards, turn 3 into...
3 Skittering Lizards? Just had it all?
Into a Sulfuric Vortex, and then turn 4, I attacked... They had gone down to like 14 because of all the attacks or something like that, and the Sulfuric Vortex... And then they killed my Skittering Lizards, so I dealt 15 damage to them with the Morbid spell. It was amazing! Oh my goodness. Oh man, sorry, I can't handle it. Can you tell that this is why I got the Red Baron? When I start talking about these red cards, I freak out.
What?
I'm ready to go home.
Oh.
I'm literally waiting on this right here.
Oh, okay.
I'm out the door.
Alright. So, to answer a quick question, can you remember what 2 colors you think have been the strongest in the last 2 sets in Standard? I'm probably going to go with green and red.
I would say green and white.
Green and white? Green and white is a really reasonable one. Oh, yeah. You're right. Blue actually has a lot too.
Blue's been really good, yeah.
So maybe blue, white, and green. Pick between those. That's really solid.
No, then black red was also really good.
Yeah. Basically, they've gotten really good at bouncing.
They've gotten really good. Yeah.
Okay, so we've got time for a couple more questions. Otherwise, we're going to be calling it a night. But we will be doing this again on Friday. So let's answer the last couple of questions. Favorite non-red archetype other than Affinity? Probably Infect. But after that, everything.
Well, I don't play red, so...
Favorite Planeswalker? Let's not get silly. It's Tybalt.
Jace Bellerin, personal howling mine.
Yeah. The biggest thing is, I mean, I've got like 70 Tybalts,
Yeah.
and I'm going to be eating one of them, regrettably, when we get to 500
Yeah,
viewers.
you are.
So, thank you so much. I hope that you guys will continue to be a part of this stream, and we're going to call it a night.
What the hell is up with your dad?
We're family friendly.
I kept really bad.
That's not bad.
I was just trying to experiment with.
Alright, so
Sorry.
we're going to have to call it a night, everybody. From Geek Fortress in Snohomish, Washington. Pay no attention to those names. My name's TJ,
I'm Coleman.
and it's been an absolute blast hanging out with you guys. Have a good night, everybody, and we'll see you Friday.